Unlocking possibilities. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com. The Fanatic Midday Show on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Welcome into the Midday Show here on 97.5 The Fanatic. 1-0. 1-0. I'm going to continue to remind people 1-0 this morning. The Birds beat the Cowboys 24-20 last night in what was a tale of two halves, a tale of two Jalen's, a lot that we have to get into from last night. Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn. Amy, they won.
They won.
Thank goodness.
One of my favorite coaches of all time once told me there's no room for comments in the win-loss section.
But there's room for comments over the next 4 hours.
But there are really room if you write really small, which I do. So I always make a little extra notes in those wins and losses.
Oh, man.
It's a win, but it wasn't pretty. It was that was one of the weirder games I've ever seen. I mean, 6 seconds in. All right, well, there's something I don't see every day.
Well, that's it. I did pregame here. I didn't even get to where I was going before Jaylen Carter was just out of the game.
I just sat down. I rushed out after doing Phillies postgame. I beat most of the traffic, got home. It was good times, settled in, got the snacks out, and I was like, what? First of all, Ben Van Sumeren goes down. I was like, well, that stinks. And then all of a sudden, the spitting, I was like, what's happening right now? What's happening? We're 6 seconds into the season.
Right. I was getting texts, and I'm watching on my phone as I'm walking to where I was going for the game. So I'm watching on the YouTube TV stream. It's a little delayed, and I got a what the bleep text. And I was like, did they score on the opening play? Like, what happened?
Yeah,
and then I see that 98's been ejected from the game. I'm like, 98, Carter, what would Carter have done?
That's an important person.
And let's start there. Let's just take this all through all the way in this game. Absolutely inexcusable. Unbelievable it happens. There is no room for excuses today for anything with Jaylen Carter. I understand. There will be the conversation that, hey, wait a second. Dak Prescott spit. I saw the video. He's laughing. He spit, whatever. Whether you believe Dak Prescott had intention in baiting him, whether or not you believe Dak Prescott was actually trying to do something towards Jaylen Carter in that moment, every single time there is an unsportsmanlike in the NFL, we hear the cliche that every color commentator will drop in there with, well, it's always the second guy. It's the one that reacts that gets penalized. Well, guess who reacted last night? Jaylen Carter.
Right in front of a ref. Literally. The guy was right there. The referee was almost touching him. He was that close. What? Well, we heard from him. I know we will, but.
Yeah, we're going to play that for you coming up. I mean, there is no reason and there is no way you should be doing that in that moment. And then, all of a sudden, the running game that's been dead for years in Dallas.
Hey! The Miles Sanders experience was in full display.
Yeah, and that was, again, there were things from last night that I thoroughly enjoyed. That was fantastic. Yes. I love the fact that you get the big Miles Sanders run, the big Miles Sanders fumble. It's like, oh, yep, there he is.
We saw that.
I remember that guy. But that is where this starts, because defensively, immediately you are now adjusting to life without one of the best defensive players in all of football. And that's an issue for you. That's not just an issue in the running game. It's also an issue for these corners that internal pressure, getting pressure right up the middle there, is something that can throw an offense off its rhythm. And, Lord, did it look like they needed to throw Dak Prescott and his receivers off their rhythm through that entire first half, because they couldn't. They could not stop them, which leads you to the other problem that we've talked about all offseason, which is the secondary, which is looking at that second cornerback spot. Adoree Jackson. Oh, boy. I think he said he would give himself a C. I think I read that this morning.
Ooh,
that I would.
That is a passing grade.
Yeah.
He did not have a passing grade.
No. He might have been able to get himself on a curve in the second half to maybe stay within a D range, but that was a disgusting first half. And that was brutal to watch from that side of things. Defensively, they had no answers to get going. Then also just undisciplined. I didn't agree with the taunting call. I feel like the no fun league return there, but that was emblematic of a number of penalties across the board for that defense.
Was it 93 yards and penalties in the first half?
Yeah, it was ugly. I got the game book right in front of me. I'll double check you on that one, but something. It's a
lot. It was a lot. There was, at one point, I was thinking we're going to have as many touchdowns as we are, because they were rolling. It was like touchdown. I was like, well, the flags have outnumbered them, but not by much.
Yeah. It was, again,
I think a
not
lot
pretty.
of and I don't know personally any Cowboys, but I have people tangentially that I know, so they appear on my timeline, and they were very pleased with the way that the Cowboys perform because people think they're going to be a 5-win team or whatever. I have to couch that with, yes, the Cowboys didn't look awful, the Eagles looked rusty, undisciplined, but also you have to remember that the Eagles were missing Jaylen Carter the entire game. So anything that you saw from the Dallas offense to me is skewed.
Yes.
They didn't look awful. I didn't think they were going to look awful. I don't think anybody thought it was going to be a shutout. I think we all said 24-17, 27-17, in that range.
They were able to move the ball with, again, the secondary that you have. Like, that to me was a big,
And why wouldn't you?
Regardless of who was out there on the interior of the defensive line, Adoree Jackson was getting beat.
Because they kept targeting, they targeted him, but they put CeeDee Lamb on that side. And I thought, well, at some point, don't you just have to switch that up? I get that George Pickens is your go route guy, right? He's the deep ball threat. He is a tremendous athlete. But if I had to choose who I would stick my best guy on, I'm going to pick Quinyon Mitchell on CeeDee Lamb.
And that's something we had talked about in the offseason about, are they going to have him follow? Like, is he going to follow around the best receiver? Like, are they going to go that way? They did not last night. That's something I think over the next 10 days you review. You have to look at and say, okay, we know what he is. If he's going to be the other corner opposite of Quinyon Mitchell, then we got to start questioning whether or not Quinyon Mitchell should be the one following around CeeDee.
Well, and it was interesting because we heard from Vic Fangio, and he said he was going to give Adoree Jackson a long leash. Mm-hmm. And then when you're watching this game, you're like, well, how long is that? Is it 100 yards?
Right.
How long is the leash? Because you need to be able to see the dog that you're walking if he was on a leash at all. I don't know. He was running free out there. And then he goes in for a concussion check, and you see Bennett come out, Jacorian Bennett. Okay, I thought he acquitted himself just fine. Did he light the world on fire? No, but I was surprised that when Jackson was cleared, then Fangio put him back out there. That was a surprising move to me. That let me know that the leash was quite long. So that was a perfect opportunity to make the change.
We got a lot to react to. They are 1-0. They are unbeaten. They beat Dallas. That was the goal going into it. They won. We all wanted to be 1-0 when we came on the air here today. The one thing I will say, yesterday, you mentioned dogs. I got texted a picture of a dog by Dylan McKinnon that said I sounded scared. I should get a dog.
You said it was
single digit. There was a lot of people that were like, "Oh, well, you got the Cowboys covering." And my entire justification yesterday was, it's week 1. It's a weird thing. Now, I never anticipated Jaylen Carter getting ejected. There was not any prediction given there. And a lot of the things I looked at the game, talking about Devontae Smith having a big game, talking about that running defense for Dallas. There are a lot of things that did not play out as you expected. But I know for so many people, you went into that game thinking, we're going to crush them.
It's
going to be awesome.
35-3.
Go Birds, man. And that was not how this game played out.
I didn't think they were going to crush him, but I really thought, well, more like a 24-14. I thought like a 10-point win.
But bringing up what we saw and what we expected from yesterday brings me to my question for the people out there at 610-632-0975. One, just what's your reaction following what you saw last night? But also, given the expectation so many people had of them blowing them out, is there anyone today like, whoa, what's going on with my football team? How'd that happen? Because I think that happened exactly as one could expect. That was week 1 football. Mm-hmm. There was the sloppiness of week 1 football. Again, Jaylen Carter, that's different. That's not week 1 football. That's just dumb. That's plain stupid. You can't do that. But for a large part of it, the inconsistency you saw defensively and then offensively in the second half, I think a lot of that comes back to week 1 football. Yeah. That's why I was expecting a closer game. I'm curious, for those of you that expected the blowout, how you're feeling today at 610-632-0975, and also just your general takeaways. Because coming up, we will play for you what Jaylen Carter had to say. You just got to be better, man. You just got to be better. I understand there was a second spitter. I got you. But you just got to be better there. Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn, taking you through middays here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Philadelphia.
I'm going to say it every time.
I'm going to say it every second. 1-0.
Oh, it's true. It is 1-0.
We all predicted a win, and we all are correct. You know what there isn't room for in the wins and loss column, whether or not you had them covering the spread. I also didn't have them covering the spread, so I'm still 1-0.
That's true. You're
I'm 1-0 against the spread, too, this season. Don't look at the FanDuel account because I'm very much owing a lot in that.
Thank you for paying for all the trains yesterday.
Yes. Broad Street line for the next home game. You're welcome. I funded it. Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn. The Birds 1-0 after the win last night over the Cowboys. And we've started out talking about Jaylen Carter. And I'll be honest with you. As we get later into the game, as we see the angle of Dak Prescott spitting towards him, and I'm just scrolling social media, going through it, there is one thing that comes to mind. There was one thing last night that comes to mind outside of the football conversation. And that's the Keith Hernandez Seinfeld episode. That was the biggest thing that came for me. So, Rodman, what was there last night?
There had to have been a second spitter.
That's the takeaway. There had to have been a second spitter
as
there.
As soon as that reverse angle where Dak is looking down behind his lineman or whatever, and clearly just like, he didn't even look like he was really paying attention to anything. And all of a sudden he looks up and was like, what? The first thing I saw was like second spitter. That was like, before I even saw the video, just second spitter. I was like, what am I watching?
There had to have been a second spitter. Now, the problem is, it is the second one who spits who gets the
correct. It's
penalty call.
It's always the second in the retaliation of any short. So someone shoves you, you shove them back, you're going to get the flag. It's just the tale's old as time.
So let's, again, realize. I know that if you wake up today an Eagles fan, one, good morning. You're tired. I hope that you're powering through right now. But two, you wake up today and you're like, you know what? They won the game without Jaylen Carter. It's all right. It's all right. And Dak spitted him first. There is no world in which we're excusing this one today. There's no world in which we're saying, yeah, it's cool.
He didn't
it's good.
spit at him, though.
And it also,
but it also doesn't matter.
Yeah, even if he did try to bait him,
you don't spit.
You know who gets penalized in all those situations.
Yeah, it's just so stupid.
Well, it's a lot for them to throw him out. When you leave that up to interpretation.
If the roles were reversed, people would have lost their mind.
Right. When you leave that up to interpretation, you leave the world for you to get thrown out of the game. That's the biggest thing there. You can't leave it up to interpretation of the officials of what you did, the level of unsportsmanlike it is.
Oh, but you don't. And Jalen knew it. He knew it.
Yeah.
He knew it as soon as it happened. He was like, people saw that he was laughing. I think that was him being like, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
It's one of those
I
like,
lost my cool.
Man, I screwed up.
Of course I did it. Like, of course. Like, you could just tell he just looked up and was just like, I cannot believe that. I just did that.
But the disappointment here for me, yesterday we had Todd Archer on, right? And we were talking about the Parsons situation. And you mentioned leadership when it came to Micah Parsons. And he kind of laughed at like, oh, Micah Parsons, he wasn't much of a leader here. When this season came around, we were hoping he grew into a leader. Your best player isn't always your leader. That's not how this works. But for a young defense, Jaylen Carter is the best player on that defense.
Yep.
And at some point, you have to step into a role where maybe you're not leading by what you're saying, but at least what you're doing. You have to be able to set the example there. You have to be, as the best player, one, available, but you also just need to mature into being a veteran on that defense. Because here's the deal.
Yeah.
We've talked all offseason about the idea that this guy is going to get the payday of all paydays.
Yes.
He's going to get a lot of money from this organization.
Exceptionally large contract.
And when you look at how you build a roster, when you decide to invest in one player, that player then becomes, again, way more valuable because you're not able to invest elsewhere. So when they decide to put that investment into him, he has to, one, again, be available, but two, the level of play has to match, again, the level of pay at some point. And that's going to come down the line. And if he makes these mistakes and he does not mature into the player that you want, that's going to be a huge issue for this team. Because no one today wakes up and says they shouldn't pay Jaylen Carter. They say Jaylen Carter's got to learn from that. But that's the bigger picture down the line here, where you can't have these mistakes. You can't have him screw up. But today, it was pointed out to me, he didn't play the first series last year in Week 2 against Atlanta because he was late to a team event.
Correct.
And that's the type of thing. When you're talking about what does this mean, the Eagles do win the football game. That's great. He can't be let off the hook for that, and he also has to realize his role with this team. You are more than just a great player here. You are a professional at this level that has to act like it. And you have to act like that going forward. We can't be talking about a Jaylen Carter situation again.
Well, the thing is, he will also build that reputation up, not just within his team, but within the league. Then you'll become that guy. So even if you do something that's not egregious, that's a little bit borderline, guess what? So here I am. I'm watching an NBA game, and if I see Draymond Green push somebody, what's the first thing I think of? Well, of course Draymond Green did.
Yep.
It doesn't matter anything else that happened. Someone could have said something horrible to him, and he could be completely justified. But because it's Draymond Green and he has that reputation, or Grayson Allen, it's like, well, nope, you're done. So Jaylen Carter, he's kind of flirting with that.
And you have that reaction at home. You know who else has that reaction? The guys in Zebra.
Absolutely.
Those guys are also going to sit there and say, something happened over there? 98's over there.
Yep.
Is it fair?
Yeah, he's too good of a player to leave open any kind of interpretation that would go against him. This obviously is going to go against him because there is no interpretation for it, in my opinion. It was wrong. You can't do it. I don't care. It doesn't matter what anybody said or did. You can't do it. You were right in front of him. The man was right in front of you. It's beyond disrespectful. It's beyond disgusting. Jaylen Carter knew it. There's no excuse for it. It's all said and done. But now you've opened yourself up to being that guy. That guy with the refs, that guy with the other team. They know they can taunt you now. Well, and within your own teammates. Like, it's so stupid.
And that's the thing. I'm not going to blame his teammates for a decision that he made. But it also goes to, hey, who on the field realizes that Jaylen Carter is over there talking to the other side, that Jaylen Carter's walking over there? Who in that moment realizes, hey, he's about to go confront the other team's quarterback? Like, I don't know what exactly, you got to go back and look exactly what they're talking through and where they're going. At the beginning of the game, no one anticipates a situation like that happening. But now, going forward, hey, see Carter go over there, every team is going to be like, yeah, you know how we can beat the Eagles' defense? Well, let's get rid of the best player on the field and try and bait him into doing something dumb.
And the thing is, this happens all the time. It's not like Jaylen Carter's first game of playing football, period, right? I'm sure that he played in the SEC. There's a lot of bitter rivalries there. There's all kinds of stuff that's said and done in the middle of these tackles, these scrums.
Right.
This was I think that's what made it even weirder. It's like he was all of a sudden talking noise to Booker, and Dak looks up, and it's just like, whatever. And then you have to come in and say, why would I spit at you? Whatever it is, the point is, now he's got a big red light above him. Like, why wouldn't you try to light that guy on fire?
All right, real quick. Let's get to some of what he had to say post-game, just addressing this and what happened out there.
It was a mistake that happened on my side, and just won't happen again. I feel bad for just my teammates and the fans out there. I'm doing it for them. I'm doing it for my family also. But the fans, they show the most love. You heard them out there today. Just not being able to start the game, even finish the game, just fucked me up. But
yeah, him right there saying he was about to say not be able to finish the game, and he realized, I didn't even get a chance to start the game. He's not listed as a starter on the report here because he never got to play a snap. So listen, that had to get that out of the way off the jump here, because that again leads to everything else you see defensively. They did not stop the run as well as you would expect against that Dallas running attack. The secondary could have used some help from some interior pressure. Again, he's a game-changing player. He's a former All-Pro. Like, that's something you have to stick with, and you have to look at in the context of the game. Coming up, though, I said in the open, tale of two Jalen's. Hurts last night. How about Jalen Hurts? Michael Jordan in attendance.
I gave him the shrug, too.
Yeah. Let's get to the Super Bowl MVP, the franchise quarterback, who last night, the numbers are not going to save us come April when some dumb list has him down on the list again, but he was tremendous last night in his first game with the new offensive coordinator. She's Amy Fadul. I'm Ray Dunn. Take you through Middays, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The Birds hold on for the win. I'm Sean Rodman, and Jalen Hurts and the offense answered after every Dallas scoring drive. The Eagles' defense pitched a shutout in the second half, and part of the defense's struggles early was due to Jaylen Carter being ejected prior to the first snap of the game. Nick Sirianni spoke post-game on how the team will handle it.
Yeah, I'm going to keep all our conversations and all my disciplinary things in-house, but we got to do it. We got to fix it as coaches.
We'll keep you updated on the news surrounding Jaylen Carter and what the Eagles or the NFL decides to do. Eagles had a handful of injuries last night, including Landon David Dickerson leaving the game early due to a back injury, Will Shipley due to a rib injury, and Ben Van Sumeren also left the game due to a knee injury in that opening kickoff. The Phillies win the series yesterday in Milwaukee. The team starts a 3-game series in Miami tonight, and Christopher Sanchez gets a start for the Phils and Valentin Bellows for the Marlins. First pitch is at 7:10. This update is brought to you by Discover. Do you know what's accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide? If you guessed Discover, you guessed right, based on the February 2024 Nielsen report. I'm Sean Rodman on the home of the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
We may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage bait to try to spark conversation. So make the switch to Unfiltered with me, Bill Colarulo, my man Ricky Bo, and Silvana Kelleher.
Every weekday at 2 p.m. right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
We may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage bait to try to spark conversation. So make the switch to Unfiltered with me, Bill Colarulo, my man Ricky Bo, and Silvana Kelleher.
Every weekday at 2 p.m. right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
That's right. Unfiltered coming up at 2. I got to hang out with them yesterday at Chicks and Pizza in South Philly.
I heard you.
You had a long day of work. You had a whole long, yes, great day, but a day that extended quite a bit. You got here early, did the show with me, you did pre and post for Phil's, which, hey, Phil's take 2 or 3 from the Brewers.
Big time.
Woo! We'll get to that coming up in the 11 o'clock hour.
Push that one down the line.
Yeah. And then I got a chance to be with Unfiltered, did the pregame show, and then everything from the pregame show just went out the window really quickly. But one thing that we were all looking forward to was actually watching Jalen Hurts play. Instead of discussing Jalen Hurts as if he was a guy that just appears on a list every other week.
Exactly.
We get to
and
talk
not near
about
the
him.
top of the list.
Yeah, we get to talk about the game. And it's funny, I tweeted this out after the second rushing touchdown. I watched him run in for that touchdown. And first reaction, of course, is, woo, go Birds, whole thing, Eagles chant breaks out with people I'm with, like, great time. Second reaction was, crap. It's like another rushing touchdown. When he has less than 20 passing touchdowns this year, in April, I'm going to be fighting again with a list from some national guy on Fox Sports that makes me upset.
And that's the thing. There's going to be people that wake up today and they're just going to look at the stats and say, oh, well, he didn't throw the ball all that much.
Yeah.
Oh, well, he didn't.
Well, it'll be the crew nationally that was like, Thursday Night Football, first game of the season? Heck yeah, man, let's go grab beers. They watch the first half. They're like, all right. They see that they don't really remember the second half. They see the second half, there wasn't a lot of scoring. They're like, oh, he must have tapered off.
Yeah, he probably wasn't very good.
That's who you're fighting with online. I just want you all to know that. Today, if you go through that, that's who you're fighting with online. That guy was drunk in the second half. And
he wasn't even paying attention because during the lightning delay, he just left.
Yeah,
checked
he
out.
fell asleep, actually.
Yeah,
he got back home. He sat down in the recliner. He woke up today, the alarm at 7 on his recliner, like, oh, man.
And read it, 24-20.
24-20. Oh, they won.
I'll read enough.
Hurts, 19 of 23. Jimmy Kempsky pointed this out today. The 19 of 23, those 4 incompletions. 1, a Saquon drop. 3, throwaways.
Yeah, intentional.
So, yeah, the ones that ended up being intended for someone were completed. The 19 of 23 from 152, he took 1 sack. And even that sack, we've been pretty critical of him in terms of, holding the ball. Is that I was sitting there and I was watching with someone who is very much not an Eagles fan, who can be quite critical. And he's like, oh, no. I was like, you really think that sack was on him? I was like, no, probably not. I was like, exactly. That sack wasn't on him. He was tremendous in moving the football. And this is something that we talk about a lot with Jalen. At least I feel like on this show we talk quite a bit. And I think on this station we talk quite a bit with Jalen Hurts. The goal for the quarterback is to get the ball down the field.
Correct.
However you do that, that's a good thing. Yesterday was the ultimate example of that because as soon as he saw, hey, there's nothing there, I'm going to go take it. There was a flash, a glimmer of a Jalen of yesteryear, like a Jalen from 22, the peak powers Jalen that we all remember, like just I don't see anything right here. I'm gonna trust my legs to go make that to get that first down. I saw that he's getting freaky with the little shimmy trying to get past people.
One that was like a third down, and it looked like it was going to be completely busted up play, and he ended up running for I think 15.
Yeah, like those that was his longest run of the night.
Yeah,
15. Yeah. So those types of plays, those flashes, again, are why we all buy into the guy and why we all, look at him at the rest of the league and say, yeah, he is one of the top guys because he was able to move the football for you. It was interesting for the offense how little they were able to get done in the running game outside of Jalen Hurts. Mm-hmm. And especially in that fourth quarter because that's usually where you're able, that's usually, the way they end it.
Ground and pound.
And they did a good job controlling time possession after that first quarter. That first quarter plays out the way it does. From that point on, they did a really good job controlling the time possession. Even late when they weren't scoring, there was ability for them to still hold the football. I think there was a 7-minute drive in that fourth quarter that was, again, big for them just being able to run out the clock on the Cowboys. But the last, I think it was 6 carries in the fourth quarter, so I think that was all the fourth quarter carries for Saquon Barkley, did not gain a yard.
0. 6 for 0.
Which is nuts. Early on, again, there was watching Saquon. I was like, man, it's good to be back. Like, just watching him just break through a hole, pick up 6 yards when you're like, unless a running back gets like 1 there. But at the end of the game, I was a little caught off guard by how the running game didn't have a lot there. A lot of juice late in that game.
Yeah, and it was, we were examining what the play calling was going to look like. And so I think when we're watching the game, you're watching to see, like, all right, were these obviously, first design runs, which for Saquon they were. But then after the third one, I guess it was, maybe the third one where he didn't get any yards, I was like, okay, well, let me watch when the next time like, what am I looking at? Am I looking for, is their defensive front just really creating that much of a bottleneck that he's unable to? Because this is a guy that can move north-south very, very well.
Yeah.
So I was very confused as to what was happening. And I could just attribute it to just a really good pressure up front, right up the middle for them, unable to make those cuts, and then maybe just a little bit of fatigue. I mean, it's always weird after the lightning delay or any kind of delay, like how the team is going to come back out. So I don't want to attribute it all to that.
Both teams were rolling offensively. The lightning came, and then it was like, hey, these defenses remember how to play football.
14, and then all of a sudden it really became stagnant. And you wonder how tightness gets. And I know those guys try to stay loose, but to me it was, I'm not going to put as much stock into the O-line wasn't as formidable because Saquon had 6 rushes for 0 yards.
I also think it might be an in-sync thing. And no, I'm not talking about the band. I'm talking about just...
Perfect.
Yeah. That's what they said to the Cowboys last night. 1-0. Go Birds. I think it's also like those plays, I think for them in the running game, there probably is a little bit of like, okay, this is the way it looks when Patullo calls this look. This is the way it looks like.
Right.
Some of the optionality in their offense might be just, again, them trying to work through what exactly they were checking to, maybe what exactly everything looks like. That's something I'm not going to freak out over the running game, but it's also something that I think teams are going to key in on. Like that's this year, if you get the Eagles on your schedule, teams are going to try and sell out to do that. And for good reason.
Yeah.
And last night, Hurts, driving force in that game for you to win it.
I think the one thing that we appreciate when you watch Jalen Hurts in a game, because you don't see it in the preseason because he doesn't play, you don't see it at practice because that's not how they run it, is the speed and the power with which he runs. The decision-making is something you and I talked about yesterday. How's that going to look different for him? Everybody's talked about his confidence seems up. Obviously, it should be because he's the reigning MVP of the Super Bowl. But it really, I think, showed itself that he is an extremely gifted athlete. The way he's able to move up and down, you don't remember at the time how fast he is until you see it, or how quick he can make his moves, or how powerful those moves are. We all talk about the squats and whatever else, and I know they did the thing on Saquon Barkley. But the decision-making, to me, and you put that with the running, I thought was really what shined about him. And I know people are going to see the passing numbers and think, it doesn't matter.
That's just content brain for me.
It doesn't matter to me. You watch it with your eye test. He looked great. He looked every bit at the leader and the best player on the offense for that team.
Yeah, and they win the game. 1-0.
Because of him.
Hey, guy just wins. Just wins. They just won last night. We're going to get to your reaction coming up. I know we got a lot on the text line, 610-632-0975. A couple people holding right now. We'll get to your calls coming up as we react to the Birds being 1-0. Big point there.
1-0.
1-0. We'll talk also about that secondary because we got into it early. We'll get into it again. She's Amy Fadul. I'm Ray Dunn. This is Middays, 97.5 The Fanatic.
The summer's here, and
fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
We may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage bait to try to spark conversation. So make the switch to Unfiltered with me, Bill Colarulo, my man Ricky Bo, and Silvana Kelleher.
Every weekday at 2 p.m. right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
I like the sound of Victory Friday.
Tomorrow's Victory Saturday.
Victory Sunday. All next week. Victory every day.
And I know people that are listening, we're going to get to the reaction here on the text line, 610-632-0975, on the phone lines as well, here on the Midday Show with David Figueroa. I'm Ray Dunn. I know that we all in the moment last night had the whole, like, gosh, this team, they could get on my nerves. But waking up today and, like, working through, and earlier in the show, I know people were like, you're focusing a lot on this Jaylen Carter thing. And it's like, we can have all these things, and you just sigh and you go, yeah, but they won.
They won.
And they beat Dallas. And it just brings a smile to your face.
It's always a good day.
Part of me wants to go break out the cowboy hat, the cigar, and just,
just kind of
laugh
put
at
your
their
feet up.
misery. Yeah. A little Stephen A. Smith it on this one. The Cowboys good
Yeah,
cowboy.
that go.
Oh,
Okay.
and one. Just, again, things to take away from last night. I will say I probably come in today a little bit more positive than I think people are, because I expected game one to be weird. Not as weird as it got, especially
It was
early.
weird.
But I expected the weirdo week one type situation where I'm going to sit here and say, yeah, that probably won't hold for a whole season. I don't think the running game's going to be slowed down like that all season.
Yeah.
Dickerson, and I know our YouTube chat's been all over, like, yeah, mention Dickerson, that he left the game. That is important. That's important context in the fourth quarter of why the running game wasn't there. In the past, we've seen them be able to overcome guys going down and just Stoutland U fills up. But we also talked this preseason about offensive line depth, and that could be a concern for you going forward out of this game. And the health of Dickerson is a concern for me at this point. Because,
Absolutely.
knee, back, and then leaves that game. He is just battling. He's a warrior, but he's battling right now.
We've seen him do it before. I think that's where there's concerns.
But there also was concern that coming out college, the durability. That was a concern with him. And, you just paid him. Those are all things you want to look at. But enough reaction from me. Let's hear from the people. Let's first go to the text line. Sean Rodman producing the program today. Hello, Rodman.
Hello. How are we
You
doing
had
today?
late night last night doing postgame.
Yes, I did. Yes, was here probably about 2:15ish or so.
Oh, all right, not that late. Let's put it in context here. Come on.
All right.
Let's
whatever you have to say.
You did a great job, though. Rain delay show as well. You guys did a lot. Yeah, so you guys did a lot last night. It was great. Great work by you, B Gun, Kevin Cooney, Thank you for holding it down here. 2:15. I thought you guys might stick around till 3. It was a late
Making
game.
a nice even number.
Yeah, but
2:15 is plenty late.
great stuff
Good
from
job,
you. What do you
Sean.
got on the text line?
All right, let's start off with some Jaylen Carter in this instance. One person checking in is Don from Northampton saying, no one likes us and we don't care. Does not pertain what Jaylen did last night. Jaylen Carter has to control his anger management. The Eagles must discipline Jaylen Carter. What the NFL did not do enough. What if the NFL did is not enough? The Eagles must do something more to Jaylen. Well, we're still waiting on a suspension at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, the league's going to look into it. So first the league is going to decide whatever they're going to do to him. I imagine his pockets are a little lighter today.
I would think you get a full game check fine. You didn't play in the game.
Yeah, I mean, I would think, but from the Eagles side, that's where I go with this. Fine him. Yeah. I don't need him to be suspended. There's some people around here calling for them to suspend.
He was suspended for a game.
I mean, yes, but people are calling for suspension beyond this game.
Well, the league might cover that for you.
Yeah, if the league does that, let the league do that.
But I would think a full game check.
Yeah, the pocket should be a little lighter. That's the
my
punishment from us.
That's what I would do.
I will not.
He didn't play in that game. You don't get paid for that game.
Given how I felt about him not being a part of last night's game, I'm not signing up for him not to be a part of another game. He was punished enough. He's going to hear about this for 10 days. He's going to be fined. The league's looking into this. I'm sure there will be discipline. He needs to be better, to that texter's point. But I am not sitting here saying, you know what? Actually, the Eagles should hamstring themselves against the Chiefs next week and suspend him again. No. If that's going to happen, let the league take care of that.
And then you appeal it if the league does it. So maybe you wait one more week.
Well, if there's anything like what they tried to do with the Rashee Rice situation, they'll schedule the hearing for a month from now, and it'll make no sense. I ended up where they suspended him, but still can't believe the league was ready to just let him play for 3 games and then...
And then all of a sudden, yeah.
I'll get distracted on that. What else we got on the text line?
All right, another one. And then we have a couple messages on this as well. Kari from East Norrington says, what you guys are glossing over is Dak spit at him too. He says on him too, but he spit at direction.
Please give us the Seinfeld line. Please give us the Seinfeld line. We are well aware. We are well aware of the fact that Dak spit
look at
as
his
well.
There had to have been a second spitter.
The second spitter is the one that gets punished.
But there was the first spitter wasn't near the second spitter. He wasn't. There was 2 humans in between them.
Even if he's trying to bait you.
Just you can't.
You can't react in that moment that way. That's the problem here. And I understand today the wave of emotions is going to hit you where they won. Jaylen Carter's our guy, and a lot of you are going to move on and like, all right, nothing ever happened. Like, go Birds, this is our guy. Let's ride for our guy here. I get it. I understand that. But Carter has to know that if you start to get in that back and forth and the official watches you spit on him, like even if you don't get thrown out of the game, that's 15 more yards for the Cowboys. It's not going to help your team out. You have to have the moment in there where you realize what you're doing. I understand that there's probably a lot of texters that are chimed in like, yeah, you can't. But to me, and I think to Amy, and to pretty much everyone, I think within these 4 walls that we've talked to, it's like you just got to be better than that. One more text before we hit the phones.
All right, last one up we have is, this is, no name on this one, says, show support for the Eagles players. He was spit at first. The guy that retaliates gets thrown out of the game. The guy that started was permitted to play. Makes no sense.
Oh, it makes perfect sense.
That's how this works. Unsportsmanlike conduct through the entire history of the NFL. It's the guy that reacts that always gets penalized.
Like that, I would just say if the roles were reversed, you would not feel that way. You would not feel that way. You would not say like, well, they both should have been taught. Like,
yeah, you'd say, oh yeah, Jalen definitely should have been thrown out. No, well, Jalen never would. And that's the thing. Dak, you can not like Dak. I'm not a big fan of Dak.
No?
Because of who he, like, I'm just not a big, he's kind of corny to me. You know,
I'll give you that.
He's the Cowboys quarterback and he's corny. Like, that's kind of all I need not to be a fan of the guy.
I just don't like that there's a blueprint now because if I'm like the opposing quarterbacks and if I have like a little like, why wouldn't I try to bait this guy?
Right.
I'm going to say all kinds of stuff now.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine the Chiefs will, no matter who the quarterback is, no matter who's on the field next week for the Chiefs.
Anybody that sees Jaylen Carter is going to know that.
All right,
That's
I know.
What's so stupid.
Alan in New Jersey wanted to get in on this one. Alan, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Good morning, Ray. Good morning, Amy.
Good morning.
Win is a win.
1-0.
There you go.
Exactly. But, first of all, I hate the Cowboys. But,
amen.
Dak Prescott is a class act. So, again, he wasn't spitting at, I could tell you right now, and like Amy said, it was a mile away to spit, And he does not do that. I've watched Dak Prescott. I don't like him, but he's a good quarterback. And he is a class act. So that's number one. Jaylen Carter is a 3-year veteran now. This is his 3rd year. That's discipline, and that's disgusting what he did. I mean, punch him? I'd rather have him punch him, okay? But with that said, Jalen Hurts did a great job last night. A great job. But what concerns me, though, is the amount of rushes was due to our offensive line before Dickerson left. So that is a concern. But I'll leave you with this. I talked about it, and you have all your specialists and analysts. Come on. Our linebackers and secondary. Is our secondary in the 3rd-degree burn hospital?
One of them might
Jackson?
Yeah, I mean, Adoree Jackson, for
Close.
sure. I can't get with you there on the linebacker thing.
Listen, you asked me yesterday who I was going to be watching, and the guy that we had talked about earlier in the week, like it could be an X factor somewhere down the line in the season, and it was Jahad Campbell.
Yeah.
It's been Jahad Campbell for me the first time I saw him at like the OTA rookie mini camps. Just the way that he is physically, the way that he is so athletic, and the way that he's able to close. I thought and last night, yep, he looked every bit that I wanted him to look. I thought he looked great. So linebacking core, I do not have an issue with at all.
No, that wasn't where I took away linebacker. If you want to go to the secondary, we can talk about that secondary getting gashed. And I think that's my takeaway. Yeah. Zach Bond, though, trying to take the ball from
because it was an
Sanders
extra 15
twice.
yards. Like,
all right.
Just make the tackle. I get it.
You know the scouting report. You see Sanders in front of you. You're like, there's a chance he's going to fumble this.
So
but
he'd be there waiting.
All right.
Yeah.
Coming up, getting back into it. He did just call it Dak. Like, there's a chance that Dak wanted to bait him. Like, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to sit here and just like, oh, yeah, the Cowboys did the stand-up thing there. There was spit in Jaylen Carter's direction. However he interpreted that, it was the action that followed it that is what led to all this. You have to take responsibility for what you did in that moment. So if you hate Dak Prescott, you can absolutely run with the idea that, hey, he was spitting at him and he was the one that incited that. But the one that responds is the one that gets penalized in this one. That's just the way it's been in the NFL when it comes to unsportsmanlike forever.
You cannot respond that way.
That's the problem here. So I'm not here today to defend Dak. I really don't care to defend Dak. He's not my quarterback. He's corny. He's the Cowboys quarterback. So even if you want to go with he incited him and that was the reason why he spit back at him, you can't spit back at him.
Nope.
That's point blank. End of the story. Going to the offense. One thing that I did not anticipate last night.
It was A.J. Brown.
Yeah. She's Amy Fadul. I'm Ray Dunn. We're breaking down the game right here on the Midday Show.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Well, the Eagles got the win, and they're able to hold on. I'm Sean Rodman. Jalen Hurts in the offense after every Dallas scoring drive. The Eagles defense punched a shutout in the second half as well. And part of the defensive struggles early was due to Jaylen Carter being ejected prior to the first snap of the game. Nick Sirianni spoke post-game on how the team will handle it.
Yeah, I'm going to keep all our conversations and all my disciplinary things in-house, but we got to do it. We have to fix it as coaches.
We'll keep you updated on any news surrounding Jaylen Carter. The Eagles had a handful of injuries last night, including Landon Dickerson leaving the game due to a back injury, Will Shipley due to a rib injury, and Ben Van Sumeren due to a knee injury. The Phillies are back in action today after they won the series yesterday in Milwaukee. The team are in Miami tonight to start the series. Christopher Sanchez gets the start for the Phils, and Valentin Beozo gets the start for the Marlins. First pitch is at 7:10. This update is brought to you by AAA and AAA Tire and Auto Service. Save up to $30 on auto repair with the AAA Triple Play, only at AAA Tire and Auto Service. Offer valid through September 13th. Details at AAA.com/mycar. I'm Sean Rodman on the home of the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
We may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage bait to try to spark conversation. So make the switch to Unfiltered with me, Bill Colarulo, my man Ricky Bo, and Silvana Kelleher.
Every weekday at 2 p.m. right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
WPEN, WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group station, broadcasted live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn. We have fun doing this show.
We always do.
Don't we have fun
How
doing
could
the
we
show?
not?
Also, it's just, again, I said it in the last segment.
You didn't say it this time. 1-0.
Yes, 1-0. And that's the smile today. Dallas is 0-1. Right now, if you look at the standings, at the top of the NFL are the Philadelphia Eagles.
And at
Then
the
there's
bottom.
30 teams, and then there's the Cowboys. It's beautiful. It's nice. Just remember that today. Remember that today. Because I think I saw a comedian that does stand-up in this area. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the comedian. So whoever it is, I assume that person's tuned in right now. Like, I am important to this
Why wouldn't
comedian's
they be?
life. But I saw he did a whole bit on basically, like, his roommate's been living off the fact that the Eagles won the Super Bowl, that every minor inconvenience the guy has, he's just like, it's all right. The Birds won. And it's like he came home and he saw his roommate. His roommate's like, I lost my job, man. Like, just a tough day. He's like, oh, you okay? You want to talk about it? He's like, yeah, man, the Birds won the Super Bowl. I'll be all right.
Like, fine. See? Anything can happen.
Yeah. So that's what today is. Today is that for me. It's like, it's like, great. Birds won. You know?
So it's always good.
Anything that happens to you today, I have, knock on wood, travel inconvenience today. Like, I'll be like, the Birds won.
The Birds 1-0.
I'll get where I need
What's
to go.
your team?
Yeah.
You know what? They're not 1-0 unless your team's the same as my team. Then let's go. Birds.
And
Then let's go Birds.
yeah,
together.
just go Birds. I'm
Yeah.
traveling in the Eagles gear today
As
because
you should.
that's how you do it. One thing from last night that we did not anticipate. We talked a lot about that secondary for the Cowboys, and we talked a lot about this passing offense getting going. And I thought Hurts had himself a tremendous game last night. One guy that was non-existent in that passing game was A.J. Brown. We got someone on the text line, Rodman, chime in on that?
Yeah, we got a couple of people chiming in on this. This is Joe from Boston, says 3 yards and a cloud of dust. Woody Hayes' offensive game plan, isn't it? 3 different coordinators, and we still don't know how to use A.J. Brown. I'm beginning to think it's A.J. not running good routes to create separation more than it's the offensive scheme. I know it's only one game, but we have seen this for multiple seasons now. A.J. should be our CeeDee Lamb. I just don't get it. So frustrating.
God, that guy needs to watch the All 22.
Yeah, it's not an A.J. thing on this one. Like,
And I know that AJ's got to be frustrated. And I'm sure he is dreading, this whole coming week where it's just gonna be like, hey, are you frustrated? Because that's what that was.
left inner excellence at home.
Yeah, that was the rhetoric last year. He voiced it. It was voiced for him.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, if you talk to those guys, but if you watch, and the All 22 looks will start coming out. Probably, I know I've already seen some. You're not going to say that he runs a bad route.
If anything, it's the fact that teams are keen in on stopping him. I think that's more what it is last night. And sometimes the look that you want, you read defense, all right, that's not there, I'm going to go take. Like, Jalen has the opportunity that other quarterbacks don't to use his legs to get what he needs. Like, there are some quarterbacks that are like, ooh, that look's not there. Well, I'm just going to throw that look because I have to get it there because I don't have any other option to pick up yards here. My only option is throwing the ball here.
He wasn't covered by Adoree Jackson.
Yeah, that's a positive for the Cowboys, I guess.
And that's what. Yes, they've got a decent secondary.
Well, yeah, and I think for Patullo, I thought it was a great start by him, a great first half. There was sometimes in the second half I was left scratching my head a little bit, like, all right, where are we going with this? What's the game plan here? But to say for 3 coordinators they haven't been able to figure it out really discounts the fact that over the last 3 years, A.J. Brown's got like 4,000 receiving yards. So I can't say that it's like we don't know how to use A.J. Brown. It's like, all right, A.J. Brown, here's a little note for you, Patullo. That guy number 11, pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty
last
good.
year almost 1,100. The year before, almost 1,500. The year before that, almost 1,500. Literally, like 1,496.
Yeah. So, again, 4,000 yards over the last 3 seasons. I think they figured out how to use him when he got to Philly. So, just
25 touchdowns.
It would be an overreaction to say he's not going to be a part of this. One more text on AJ?
Yeah, Jenna from Trenton checking in says, do you think A.J. Brown not being targeted until the second half means there is something bigger going on? Was he just a decoy?
I think there's definitely some people that right now are playing the WebMD type level doctor.
Okay.
The hamstring bother. I mean, I think he's fine. I think he's fine. I think it just ended up being one of those days where the ball didn't come his way. I know that's not a fun explanation for people. That's not exactly biting commentary that I know you guys are tuning in, but that is the real and inside story for me.
It was well done on the promo.
Thank you.
It was interesting to me that we were watching the game, and it took until, honestly, I feel like maybe even after halftime. I can't remember if it was before the delay or after the delay, that there was an acknowledgement on the television that A.J. Brown had not done it.
I can tell you there was an acknowledgement where I was sitting because I kept turning to my roommate. I was
we're all sitting
this
there,
is the A.J. play, right? They're going to go to A.J. right here.
Like, certainly. And we're all talking about it while we're watching. And I'm watching the television. I'm like, have they not noticed? Did it not come up yet?
And
how does Chris Collinsworth not notice that A.J. Brown hasn't even been targeted?
This is bad work on me. I had a thought as I was saying, this is the AJ play, and I didn't go to him again. I meant to shoot a text over a double M and be like, where's the slant? Because I know he and I last year and Bill would have the conversation consistently. The AJ Brown slant, it's right there. Call it. Do it. And I know that he was sitting in his TV watching it, be like, please throw the ball to AJ Brown. I don't understand how you don't get him more involved. But right off for week 1, if it becomes a trend here, then that's when I'll start to freak out. Again, weirdness of week 1. That's where we're going with this here. Let's go to our guy, Dr. Matt Elf. See how he enjoyed that game last night. On the phone line, 610-632-0975. Greg from Bethlehem, how are you?
I'm good. 1-0. More positive than negative. To start with the negative, Jaylen Carter, enough said. The corners are terrible. If the Cowboy receivers...
All right, whoa. Corner.
You think Quinyon Mitchell's terrible?
Well, he got beat badly on at least one play where he was...
There was one play that he got beat that I do recall that he got called for the pass interference.
Yes.
And I know this is like the old cliche, like that's why he's playing defensive back. I need him to like Jugs machine for maybe like a week. You can't be dropping all these interceptions, man. These are turnovers. We need them.
Yeah. I mean, if the Cowboy receivers had tearaway jerseys, had gone through a lot of laundry. But anyway, the positives. I mean, I don't think Hurts could have played any better.
You look great.
I thought he was wonderful, and I thought directional punting was good. There were a number of times you could see the returner was frustrated because he was kicking the ball out at the 10,
So you feel good today. Jake Elliott, that was nice to see him convert on 58 was that kick. So that was good to see. But you feel pretty good this morning, Greg.
Yeah. Basically it's a preseason game for the starters. And I was glad that the rest of the guys stood up after, Carter had to sit down.
Yeah, and I think the offense's response there to that opening drive, like the offense coming back after the defense really let you down. I think the defense also just had the shock of Carter not out there.
And I think that was the worry too when you're thinking, all right, the Cowboys went down and scored. I need you to answer right away.
Did you hear my voice in your head when they went down and scored?
First thing I was like, you got to answer. You got to answer right away.
I was yesterday. If you hear me drop the phrasing of game script, you know it's football season. Because I know I overuse it. I think I should get it tattooed on my arm just for the amount of times I say game script. Because we all expect things it's the old everyone's got a plan until you get punched in the mouth.
Right.
We all had that game working out a certain way, and then you watch the defense get punched in the mouth.
Yep.
And it was
how do you respond?
How do you respond? And the game script, they stuck to what they do well. And we just got this from Sean Rodman. Saquon Barkley faced a stacked box on 66.7% of attempts in week 1.
I mean, it's not a secret. People watch the Super Bowl.
But the big thing there, more than 3 times the rate that Barkley faced the stacked box last season. 20.6% at courtesy of Jeff McClain. And that's the highest that he has faced in a game since entering the NFL in 2019. Well,
there you go.
I think the game plan's out on how to try and stop him.
No surprise on that.
Which is why the health of Landon Dickerson over the next 10 days becomes
I like
important.
that they have the extra time. I mean, that's super helpful.
Can Tyler Steen be what Mekhi Becton was for you at right guard? That's going to be a part of this. That's a part of what they have to do in the running game, and they're also going to have to get a little bit more creative. I know they like to say the short passing game is an extension of their running game.
Well, I thought
short passing game did some for them last night.
Yeah, I felt like you saw Dallas Goedert involved a bit more, which I thought is something you needed to see.
Dallas Goedert was like a rag doll out there.
Well, it's where he's going.
I know.
Where he has to catch the ball.
Every time he touched the ball, it's football. You're going to get hit. Yeah. But every time he caught the ball,
7 catches.
I was holding my breath for him. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it. So we're watching the tunnel shot when the guys are coming off during the lightning delay, and he's right there, and I think he fist bumps somebody, and I'm like, I'm surprised you can raise your arm after he was literally getting attacked every time he touched the ball. Oh. But he held on.
All right, we touched on the defense a little bit, and we never really got back to the secondary. We've mentioned a couple of times Dory Jackson. What is the plan there? And the Birds pulling a little switch up on us? We'll get to that. She's Amy Fadul. I'm Ray Dunn. Take it through middays here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Do you feel unfulfilled? Do your afternoon?
Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
We may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage bait to try to spark conversation. So make the switch to Unfiltered with me, Bill Colarulo, my man Ricky Bo, and Silvana Kelleher.
Every weekday at 2 p.m. right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com. Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
There you go, Amy. 1-0.
You didn't say it the first time.
Yeah, my bad. 1-0. Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn. That's what we're focusing on. Every time we come back from break, we're breaking down every reason why be concerned about the team. But it is interesting because I think going into yesterday and kind of where I opened the show here today, we got into a lot of the game at the beginning of the show, but I wanted to know from people how you feel now because a lot of people yesterday were like, "Oh, Ray's scared. Ray's worried. Ray's got concerns." And I had concerns. I had the Cowboys covering, the Eagles winning. I thought it was going to be closer. Week 1 weirdness. Again, I did not anticipate the wackiness of...
Yeah, that was awfully weird.
6 seconds into the game, Jaylen Carter being ejected. Like, I would love to explain to the person years from now that looks at the Eagles opening night lineup, like, wow, they started Davis and...
Jaylen Carter only played how many games that season?
Why did they start those two guys in the interior and not Jaylen Carter? Like, well, son, you weren't there. Let me tell you about the oddest start to a game I've ever seen.
6 seconds.
How do you feel for Van Sumeren?
Oh.
Because battles to come back, and then that happens, and he gets carted off right at the beginning.
I couldn't believe it.
I
couldn't believe it.
But to that defense,
Poor guy.
From the conversation about Carter to the conversation about that secondary, the two things are connected because I think pressure in the interior would have made things. There were a couple times where I was like, "Oh, Dak's got too much time. Dak got too much time. He's going to do something here." And Carter, you expect to have that game-changing presence. So that's in conjunction there. But Adoree Jackson, my goodness. We talked a lot on the post-game show during the preseason about how the number of times that we just saw Jackson's nameplate, and that's never a good thing for a corner. We're like, oh, look, he's chasing another person down.
Oh, look, he's turned around.
And it's like, last night, you just do not feel
toast
at all encouraged by what you saw there. But I'm inclined to believe they're going to try and wait this one out.
I mean, you heard Vic Fangio say he's a long leash. I don't think it's just for a game, a long leash. It's a long leash, period. They want to see. There was a reason why, yes, they traded for Jacorian Bennett because I think they didn't see enough. But at the same time, if they're going to, that guy got there, a week and a half ago after being with the Raiders. So I think it's a lot to put him in there with given a limited time. Adoree Jackson obviously knows the system, has been in the league a long time. If you're going to give someone a little bit more time to either, one, get the other guy ready, or two, try to prove yourself, even if it's the first returns are not good.
Yeah.
Then it's like, okay, well, this is what you got to do. I don't like that it's going to be coming again next week. I guess it's a week and a half from now against.
Yeah, Andy Reid's going to watch that and be like, all right. Andy Reid's going to get off that plane from Brazil tomorrow and be like, yeah,
we all saw it. We all saw it.
Everyone knows where you like the game plan.
We saw it two days ago.
Yeah. I mean, I think the one thing, though, like Jacorian Bennett coming in, it's not that he was terrible when he came in. It's just that, like, I don't know how much of an upgrade you're going to have.
The answer is you don't know. You don't know a lot about him, right?
Right.
He literally just got here. You're hoping he catches up and can turn into the player that, the people when you traded for, but has shown flashes of. But it's just you haven't seen enough yet. You have no idea, really.
No. And then the Eagles pulling the old bait and switch on us. Makuba announcing that Sidney Brown's going to be the starter, and all of a sudden, hey, look who's warming up with the starters. And then they end up switching off pretty much throughout the game. They're still trying to figure that one out.
Platoon.
Yeah, I made the platoon joke on the pregame show. I was like, it's working for one team in town. Why don't you try with another?
That's the first thing I thought. I was like, well, you're not platooning this. I mean, I hate that word.
I love that word.
See, I don't hate it with the passion that I hate the word ramp, because I hate that word.
Yeah, the ramp up thing is definitely something
don't
that's difficult for you.
It's in process as well. But platoon's getting a little overused for me.
Love it. But Makuba, I thought it was like, ooh, rookie needs a little more media training. Instead, media needs more training on dealing with that rookie. What a smart kid. What a quick switch you played on us. All right, let's go back to the phones here. Lloyd trying to jump in with us. Lloyd, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Oh, call screener not working in front of me. Give me a second, Lloyd. You'll be on in a moment because call screener froze in front of me. All right. Well, this is good. This is how you want things to go. Now I think we got him. Lloyd, there you are.
Hey, good morning, everyone. How we doing today?
Good.
Okay, my take. Adoree Jackson, he made me think I was watching a ballet show when he did that pirouette when they made him spin around on the pass play there. Need some more work on him. But Cooper was all right. I saw Cooper DeJean show a little swag in his little step with the penalty they called on him.
Well, I was getting worried there when DeJean got tied up there with the face mask. I was like, please don't let me lose two of the top guys of this defense.
That looked on the
two
replay.
of the Cowboys.
On the replay, I was like, oh no, don't look at it again.
Yeah, that was a little bit scary. Jalen Hurts commanded the team. Being ex-military, he was the general, and he commanded his troops in the trenches just like a champion, like the gentleman and the athlete that he is. He didn't worry. You never really saw him, like no sense of urgency. He controlled and ran the team the way it was supposed to be run. Kudos to Jalen Hurts. Saquon, we knew they were going to stack the middle on him. I mean, like you said, they saw the Super Bowl. As far as getting to A.J. Brown's first game of the season, A.J.'s going to get his. We got to be patient. Like someone said before, our first 1 to 2 games is basically preseason for the starters. I mean, we got to get going on all cylinders. Right now we're running on 4 cylinders, which is good. We got the win. Kudos to Jake Elliott. Looked like he got his mojo back. Our punter was on point.
All right, now we're getting down to the trenches here, talking about how much we love the punter here. That's a 1-0 mentality right here. Lloyd's brought the 1-0 mentality this morning. Everything's good when you beat Dallas.
I love the Eagles. I can't stand Dallas. And as far as the last take, Jaylen Carter, like Amy said, he should be fined, and he should be fined a game check. I don't care how old you are. You're a professional. You're at a different level now. You got 3 years in this league. You signed a code of contract, a code of conduct.
Yeah, he's got to be better. He's got to be better in that situation, Lloyd. And I appreciate you checking in with us. I appreciate making the phone call today, joining us. He's got to be better in that situation, obviously. Like, that's the point-blank period of this whole thing. I know people, and we got a lot of people that are, supporting him on our text line. With I get it. He's your guy. He's an Eagle. You don't like Dak Prescott. You see the angle of Dak Prescott spitting, and if you believe something was said, you believe going back and forth, if you want to defend him, it's your right as a fan to do it, because that's ultimately what you're going to do. You're going to act with the emotion of defending your guy. You look at Eagles as your family and that stuff. To me, in that moment, you have to know what's going to get called. You have to know what's going to happen to you if you end up spitting at him, if you end up going back at him. It's the same way if a guy hits you on the field and you go back and hit him back, they're going to get you. They're going to get you with the unsportsmanlike. That's the way it's been called forever. That's why it's a cliche. That's why I made the joke at the beginning of the show that like every color commentator of all time is like, oh, it's always the guy that reacts that gets called. That's the reaction there. That's why you can't have that happen. Coming up, I heard something on the morning show today. And it made me stop and think. Was last night an example of why we need something here?
Oh.
With regards to where the Eagles play.
I don't.
She's Amy Fadul. I'm Ray Dunn. This is the Midday Show right here at 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Birds hold on to the win. I'm Sean Rodman, and Jalen Hurts and the offense answered after every Dallas scoring drive, despite A.J. Brown only receiving one reception late in the game. The Eagles' defense pitched a shutout in the second half, and part of the defense's struggles early were due to Jaylen Carter, being ejected prior to the first snap of the game. Nick Sirianni spoke post-game on how the team will handle it.
Yeah, I'm going to keep all our conversations and all my disciplinary things in-house, but we got to do it. We got to fix it as coaches.
We'll keep you updated on any news surrounding Jaylen Carter. Eagles had a handful of injuries last night, including Landon Dickerson leaving the game due to a back injury. Will Shipley also left the game early, as well as Ben Van Sumeren on the opening kickoff. The Phillies win the series in Milwaukee yesterday as well. The team starts a 3-game series in Miami tonight, and the first pitch is going to be at 7:10 with Christopher Sanchez on the mound for the Phils and Valente Beozo for the Marlins. This update is brought to you by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies with national LTE coverage. For a limited time, get 60% off and free UPS shipping at rapidradios.com. Use code RADIO for an extra 5% off. I'm Sean Rodman on the home of the best birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
We may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage bait to try to spark conversation. So make the switch to Unfiltered with me, Bill Colarulo, my man Ricky Bo, and Silvana Kelleher.
Every weekday at 2 p.m. right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
We may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage bait to try to spark conversation. So make the switch to Unfiltered with me, Bill Colarulo, my man Ricky Bo, and Silvana Kelleher.
Question for you, Amy Fadul.
Yes, sir.
I'm Ray Dunn, taking through Midday Show here on 97.5 The Fanatic. We'll continue to get your reaction to the 1-0 Philadelphia Eagles at 610-632-0975. If you're an Eagles fan and this schedule comes out, and I'm sure we asked this when the schedule came out, and you know that Thursday night they open against the Cowboys with the banner being shown and all that, was today a PTO day?
Oh.
Like for Eagles fans.
Did you plan for it?
I can assure you when that schedule came out, I said, ooh, Friday is going to be a quick turnaround for us. But
because you're also like, you're thinking it's Friday, it's the start of the weekend. Sometimes people do that. I think they have a Sunday night football game in November.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Like
I
Monday
think it's
night.
the Packers.
Yeah, I might be more inclined to use it on I think it's the Lions.
Oh, yeah, Lions. I think the Packers might be Monday night. Yeah, the Packers are Monday night because
I would be more inclined to use my PTO day on a Monday after a Sunday night game than on a Friday, because I feel like Fridays are kind of like, in certain offices, my office Friday is the same as Tuesdays.
Yeah, our industry.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a side here people usually work from home.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't really work from home here, but
No.
But Friday would be a day you could get away with maybe having a half day, or maybe coming in a little bit late, or having the first couple of meetings be online. Like, I feel like I wouldn't burn a PTO day for me on a Friday, because I feel like I can muddle my way through it.
Yeah. I don't think you're muddling your way through here. Don't worry. I think you're doing a tremendous job, Amy Fadul.
Our industry is different because obviously you're always on, and we're happy to do it.
Only reason I ask is because I'm getting the text right now from people like, oh, I'm hurting today.
Yeah, I just woke up.
I'm like,
God bless
don't
you.
People have jobs? Don't you guys have?
They sent the email. They woke up, sent the email. They're going to be off-site and whatever else that people work in office jobs. I don't really know what you say.
Flexible schedule day is now today.
Yes.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I've never had a job this is the only job I've ever had.
Yeah. This quite literally is
the only job you've ever had. Yes,
this was my job out of college.
No, I worked
other
stuff.
Last week, Ray?
I worked at a bank, but I was a teller, so you can't really do that from home.
Well, yeah, I did. I worked at pizza shops. Like that was my
like when I was
grown up
coming
job.
up, yeah.
That was my enjoyed that. I really enjoyed the making sandwiches.
I did a little something like that. We had a pharmacy. It was like an old school place. The front of it was like a fountain part, and the back was like a pharmacy. So people come and you make like milkshakes by hand and stuff like that.
See, we got Sean on our YouTube chat, and I'm pretty sure I've now know this YouTuber is Sean's a West Coast guy, so he's up early for the West Coast, and today was a PTO day. On the West Coast,
the West Coast people were like, the West Coast people were loving that delay last night. They're like, all right.
I did not.
If it's the same Sean, I think we have a text from him as well.
All right, we will get to that in a second. I would like to go back to the phones here and go to our guy VT Ron. He's having a tour right now of a ton of football games, but he wants to chime in on last night's. VT Ron, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
1-0, baby.
1-0.
There you go.
1-0. Hey, Amy, just a sidebar from what you said the other day. If you say tech, I will never listen to you again.
I'm from Virginia. I would never in the history world. It's tech.
But it's tech. It's not va.
I don't know anybody.
Gotta go.
I've never heard anybody that would say that.
They said it on TV, and the whole alumni got after the guy.
That's
he apologized.
So you going to the Va Tech game this weekend?
That is actually that's like vomit-inducing.
Yeah, I am going to the Va Tech game. That's where I am right now on 95.
Enjoy Blacksburg, my friend.
Yeah, I will. Beautiful weather, beautiful town. Hey, listen, two positives last night. I thought Jalen Hurts' game last night may have been one of his best games because of his composure, his poise, and knowing that he had players that will definitely help him be successful at his job. And I know number 11 didn't get any targets, but his day will come also too. And that leads me to the next point. I thought Petrollo did a great job. I really do. He made some adjustments. His game plan worked. he knew that they were going to load the box for Saquon, and they did. So what did he do? 4, 5, 6-yard outs, things like that to keep the ball moving. And my biggest takeaway was Dallas goes down and scores, and you touched on this. The positive thing, he came back, and we answered that score.
They answered the bell right away. Appreciate checking in, VT Ron. I loved that. The response immediately. Like, I'm standing there like, oh, boy. And they picked you up right away.
Because you didn't want to be able, you didn't want to go down. You wanted to be able to match them. If they were going to be able to score right away because of whatever was going on in some of the defensive fronts in the secondary, you wanted to be able to answer it.
I will say it's the inverse for me, what Ron just said there about Patullo. I liked Patullo's game plan coming in. I thought adjusting to the game as it happened in that second half, there was a little bit left to be desired. Yeah, and I think they got very conservative very quick.
I was going to say, the tightness and the conservativeness, I think, did come through as far as like, all right, let's just try to get down there. We'll get in field goal. And I do want to go back. Was it Matt? Who? I don't know. Somebody mentioned Jake Elliott. Mm-hmm. Every single person in Philadelphia, when they lined up and they're showing those stats about how he was on those long kicks, the 1 for 7, and it's 58-yarder, and that was a boot. Every single person in Philadelphia held their breath. Mm-hmm. And you only talk about the kicker when they miss, but I will talk about the kicker when they hit, because that was a very good. That kick would have been good from 61.
Andrew DeCecco, if you are listening, I appreciate your professionalism, because had it been reversed and you had been the one doubting Jake Elliott and I had told you to calm down, I would have been texting you. Yeah. I did not hear it. Now, of course, DeCecco was doing his job, so I don't think he really cared to let me know. It
probably entered his mind, though.
But I'm curious in the back of his mind. It's like, yeah, Ray, remember in the postgame during the preseason when you were worried about Jake Elliott and he made that?
Told you.
I'm the football guy here. You're right. You are DeCecco. But I did think of him. I was like, it's like I'm going to get a text where I'm going to be told to eat crow on this one. And I don't blame him on that. I will also go, just in terms of going back to what Ron was talking about. You mentioned Patullo, and we mentioned just how conservative they got. There was shades of that short passing game and the stuff that like drives us nuts of like, all right, let's go after a little bit more. Let's go after a little bit more. And part of that goes to A.J. Brown. And we had someone tweeted us. Brad listens to the show all the time. Brad, I know that he interacts with us a lot. We usually get back and forth on Twitter here. And mentioned just like a screenshot of the ESPN receiving yards from a year ago and how is A.J. not in that top 5. He says, I don't want to hear, well, Barkley. How about, well, the way this team wins and the way this team operates? This team does a really good job of grinding you down in these long drives. I mentioned that 7-minute drive in the fourth quarter. That was big for you. That even though it's not producing in terms of the points you want on the board, it takes a lot of time off the clock. And the difference between A.J. Brown and a lot of the guys on this list from last year that were at the top of the receivers in football, Jamar Chase, team was constantly chasing points because their defense couldn't stop anyone. Brian Thomas, that team stunk. Drake London, that's a team that, in the Falcons.
Just going to air it out. They have no other option, really.
Amon-Ra, yeah, that's one guy that had a great season on a great team. Jerry Jeudy, that Cleveland team, what are the neighbors? CeeDee Lamb, Bowers. Look at these teams that are chasing points. And that's a little bit like part of it plays into, and here you go. If you're participating in the drinking game at home, part of it goes into the game script. That's like the way the game plays out. If you're not chasing points at the end, your receivers aren't picking up some of those yards. And yes, there is some of these guys a substantial difference. But if the difference of 200 yards comes down to 4 or 5 different games where you pick up 40 yards of garbage time yards because you're chasing points at the end of the game, that is a difference. That's part of a difference. I want to see him more involved too, but I don't think – I'm not today having the referendum on the Eagles' offense because A.J. Brown wasn't involved week 1. I have a lot of hours to fill through this season where if we want to have that referendum, we will. I'm just not going to overreact to it today.
On that list you just have, which was the top receivers from last year, how many of those guys had another top receiver that was also on the field with them at the same time?
I would say probably when you look at Jamar Chase, that would be one. Lions, that would probably be another. Yeah, point well received, though.
And did they also have a running back as well?
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. He doesn't want to hear, well, Barkley. And I'm not telling you it's just, well, Barkley. It's, well, how did the games go? Now, quick before we take the time out here. You said we got some text on the PTO?
Yes, we do have a few texts on the PTO.
Are they texting in from PTO?
Some of them are. One person checking in saying, I actually worked from remote today. Usually get
Yeah.
up early on Fridays, but my personal trainer is also an Eagles fan, so we promptly rescheduled our session for Saturday prior to the game yesterday. Another person says that Def of PTO, I'm single, no girlfriend, no kids. Each home game is a mini vacation. Plus, I start the year with 57 days. Yesterday was a PTO day as well.
57.
I know.
57.
I'm jealous.
Follow up on that one. What industry? Sir, what industry?
Wait. Is he like a no?
That is from Port Richmond.
Yeah. No, actually, we'll sidebar him privately. We're going to figure that one out to figure out how you get 57 days. I need your agent, man. Coming up next.
57.
I teased it. We didn't get to it here. Last night, and a caller today said about the link, about where the Eagles play, what it could use, maybe a new home for the Birds because
What
of
it
the
could
weather
use.
delay. We'll also get your reactions to last night's win, 1-0. She's Amy Fadul. I'm Ray Dunn. Middays, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, everybody, it's Bill Colarulo, and coming up, Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
we may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage bait to try to spark conversation. So make the switch to Unfiltered with me, Bill Colarulo, my man Ricky Bo, and Silvana Kelleher.
Every weekday at 2 p.m. right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
get 57 days of paid
People
time
are like
off.
asking how many. So
I
you
found
have
out
like.
the reason why he's got that many.
Oh,
What?
you do?
He's been at his company for 28 and a half years.
All right, yeah, that works. That checks.
Still a lot.
I mean, you'd probably bank up a few of them. He said he's single, so.
They roll them over.
Well, I'm just saying, like, maybe some people will use it to go somewhere with their significant other. He doesn't. He uses it for Eagles games. He's
might as
banked them
well.
up. Yeah, hey, listen. How's the way that guy's living? 28 and a half years at the company. That's something. That is something. That's quite a run.
You could do a 4-day weekend or a 4-day work week every week of the year.
Yeah. Oh, man, that'd be tough. I would probably do like 1 month of 5-day work weeks and then all other 4-day work weeks and then like a couple weeks off. I think that's how I'd handle 57 PTO days.
If you figure it's 5-day work weeks, he has over 11 weeks of personal time off.
And that was me
There's
from
20
Port Richmond, by the way.
There's
I mean, hey, all right, yeah.
there's 26 weeks in a year, and he can take off a little over 11 of them.
Yeah. Yeah, wow. That's impressive. That's impressive stuff right there. You know, it's impressive waking up today 1-0. Amy Fadul,
Let's go.
don't think I forgot to remind the people that the Eagles are 1-0 today. I'm Ray Dunn taking through the Midday Show alongside Amy Fadul. You just heard Sean Rodman producing the show, reacting to the victory and everything that came with it. Let's go to our truck driver out on the road. We didn't get his plans for watching the game, but he's checking in with us at 610-632-0975. Reggie, currently in Nevada. How'd you enjoy last night's game?
Pretty good. Only thing, hello, Ray and Amy. How y'all doing?
Hello.
Doing wonderful.
All right. One thing, if I could go into Mike Tomlin mode right after Jaylen Carter did what he did. Number one, he was on the wrong side of the football by 3 yards. So Mike Tomlin would have grabbed him by his face mask, and I'm going to beat myself, but probably something like this. What the F were you doing? Why the F would you jeopardize the team? Yeah. Other than that, we're 1-0.
The first 6 seconds of the game, and then the first drive from the Cowboys was like, wow, this stinks. And then from that point on, you were still upset with the defense at times, but they ended up turning it on and feel good today.
Yeah, others looked at, Dak Prescott did this, and Jaylen Carter was 3 yards on their side of the football. Why would he need to be there when his huddle is on the other side of the football?
And that's now going forward. Like in the moment, again, I'm not going to blame teammates for the decision of their teammate.
Right.
Going forward, though, if you see that happening, I need Zach Bond, come on over here. And it does bear in mind a little bit because I know just when we talk about the Georgia guys and the group that they have, N'Kobe Dean is kind of the leader of that group, and I think is also just the leader on this football team. Not having him out there, also, again, you don't know how it could have played out differently. So I'm not going to say that it's anyone's fault but Jaylen Carter's. But maybe in that situation, that's a situation where Dean's like, hey, I know Jaylen. I know from playing with Jaylen Carter all these years, I know he can get caught up in these back and forths. Let me go grab him. So that could have been maybe something that would have avoided another year. I don't know that for a fact. Again, that's just me speculating on the relationship between those guys.
Yeah, that's what should have happened. I mean, somebody on the defense was supposed to bring him back over. Hey, our huddle is over here.
Yeah, no, and I get it. And Reggie, I see where you're coming from on that one. So he's got to be over there. Let's get to what Sirianni had to say postgame, just because it's not a lot, and not that I expected it. The Sirianni, addressing all this, I think, pretty much to me, is what you expect. For Sirianni to break down what happened in that moment, we weren't going to get him to say to us like, I totally hate what he did. He put us in a terrible position. I think that's a more internal thing for Nick Sirianni. So let's take a listen to the way Sirianni addressed the Jaylen Carter situation.
Yeah, I'm going to keep all our conversations and all my disciplinary things in-house, but we got to do it. We got to fix it as coaches.
And that's pretty much it.
And that's all you're going to get.
And there is a little bit of the attention to detail portion of all his values that I think we can come away from week one a little bit disappointed by, just with the number of penalties, just some of the undisciplinedness back and forth. Rivalry's back, by the way. Anyone that thought this didn't have the juice, about 10 seconds into that game, you were ready to fight any Cowboy, not just the Dallas Cowboy. If you just saw a Cowboy walking down the street, I think a lot of people were just ready to fight anyone. The Dallas, anything. You were ready to go. The only Dallas you accepted was Goddard last night. Like, that was, I think, the mentality for a lot of people, like 10 seconds into that game. The energy was back. People always say, well, the rivalry doesn't mean as much as it used to. Last night, felt like it did for the guys on the field, and I think certainly for the entire Delaware Valley, the rivalry meant just about as much as it ever has. It was nice to show them again.
Yeah.
Just what a banner looks like.
Here's the banner. Also, we're going to hand you the L as well.
Yeah.
You got 2 L's today.
Now, caller this morning said it. And as it was happening last night, the lightning delay,
Yes.
I was looking outside, and I was like, man, because where I was at has an outdoor portion. And they closed the doors, so people came inside. And I realized the other places in this area that are just all enclosed aren't having the problem of the crowd having to move inside. And, hey, the game
You had
wouldn't
like a
have
roof
this
over your
problem
head, you would say.
if it had a roof. Is last night enough to move people to the side of a dome being the right stadium for this team?
How many weather delays have you sat through?
I would never have to sit through one again.
I hear you. I don't know. To me,
Amy, I can't do it. I'm making this argument, and I can't do it. I can't do it to myself.
It doesn't feel like football.
I want Saquon Barkley smacking his head running through the snow.
It doesn't feel like football to me. I understand it would open up a whole world of new possibilities as far as being able to host different events. But no, I can't imagine a world where I would. No, I don't like it. I don't like it. Don't like. Do not like. I understand the practicality of it. I understand, like I said, if you have a big dome, you might be able to host the Super Bowl. Wouldn't that be fun?
For those people that are like, these people, do they believe what they're saying? For a minute there, I was just trying to make the argument on the other side, and you could just feel the disgust inside of me. Like, I don't believe what I'm saying right now. I can't. I love the elements. I love the snow. I love being able, I'm not big on the whole rain game. That's not really my thing. If there's going to be elements in the game, I prefer it be snow. The rain game kind of doesn't do much for me. But, like, I'm watching last night, and then I heard the call this morning. I was like, you know what? Let me see if I can at least put this across in a way where maybe people will get on board with the idea of the dome. Maybe I'll speak to someone here. And as I'm saying it, like, I'm not even speaking to myself.
Nope.
I was like, maybe I'm trying to cope with the fact that I think they will end up in a dome eventually, and I'm going to be upset about it. And I was like, you know what? Last night's a good reason why. You know what? Justification there. I also want to see a Final Four in Philadelphia. Yeah. You know what? And I can't bring myself to want a dome here.
No.
Even with last night. Even with the fact that our nights went on an hour longer than the show. Even with the fact that we're all tired today.
And we suffered through it, and you get to tell people about it. I was there. I was there in the snow game. I sat outside for that Bills game where it rained, and I had a poncho that was glued to my head by the end of it.
It does make for a great... My dad was at the McCoy game.
There you go.
Yeah, so it makes for a great story. I tried. I really tried there for a second to convince myself that it was something. No, I know. I can't argue the side that I'm not on for this. Did anyone come away from that game thinking they want a dome now? I heard the caller today. In my head, I tried to rationalize the argument, and I can't do it. I like the bad weather. I like the snow game.
Of course you do.
I do.
Because you're a smart man, and you enjoy being in the elements. And the players enjoy, well, I would assume that some of them probably don't like it, because I think we've heard from some of the linemen where they talk about if it's really muddy, the field hasn't been great. We all remember Brazil. That's obviously a really big exception, but they have to wear certain different spikes.
I'll be interested to see if this town shifts in their feeling about bad weather whenever this team goes to more passing-centric offense.
Oh, good point.
If they don't have Saquon Barkley, 5-6 years from now, people are like, you know what? Actually, the dome is a great idea. Let's keep it all even out there. Perfect weather is important to us. All right, coming up, NFL notes at noon, because the NFL kicks off for everyone else. Well, starting tonight in Brazil and then on Sunday. But right now, 1-0, top of the leaderboard. Just one.
1-0. There's only one team. It's 1-0.
Also, this morning I got a very funny text, and it had to do with my social media presence last night, or their lack thereof in the second half. She's Amy Padula. I'm Ray Dunn. Middays here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
1-0. I'm Sean Rodman, and the Eagles are 1-0 after last night. Jalen Hurts and the offense answered after every Dallas scoring drive, despite A.J. Brown only receiving one reception last night late in the game. The Eagles defense pitched a shutout in the second half after Jaylen Carter was ejected prior to the first snap of the game. Nick Sirianni spoke on that, on how the team will handle the Jaylen Carter situation.
Yeah, I'm going to keep all our conversations and all my disciplinary things in-house, but we got to do it. We have to fix it as coaches.
Birds had a handful of injuries last night, including Landon Dickerson leaving the game early due to a back injury. Will Shipley and Ben Van Sumeren also left the game early as well. Phillies win the series in Milwaukee yesterday. The team starts a 3-game series in Miami tonight. Christopher Sanchez gets the start for the Phils, and Valente Beozo gets the start for the Marlins. First pitch is at 7:10. This update is brought to you by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies with national LTE coverage. For a limited time, get 60% off and free UPS shipping at rapidradios.com. Use code radio for an extra 5% off. I'm Sean Rodman on the home of the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
We may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage bait to try to spark conversation. So make the switch to Unfiltered with me, Bill Colarulo, my man Ricky Bo, and Silvana Kelleher.
Every weekday at 2 p.m. right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
1, Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. I almost said WPN HD 1-0 because his team's 1-0.
Yeah,
right, Amy Fadul?
If you don't start the whole segment 1-0, I don't know who you are.
I'm trying to go 1-0 every segment. All right, that's my goal for that's going to be my new Hertz or Sirianniism. I'm going 1-0 every segment. I'm ready done. My goal is to go 1-0 for the next 12 minutes. And then after that, 1-0 for the next 8 minutes.
Week by week, section by section?
Segment by segment.
Yeah, there you go.
Dominate your job. Do your job.
Do your job, Bill Belichick.
Coming up in a few minutes, we're going to see if Sean Rodman goes 1-0 in the NFL notes at noon as we will get across the NFL. Because, again, Brazil tonight, slate on Sunday.
Is that on YouTube?
Yes, YouTube, because they had Mr. Beast, right? They had him do the commercial with Goodell that a bunch of people freaked out about. Mad libs of a sentence there.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care. I didn't watch it intentionally. I was like, wow, the NFL, this is dumb. They're doing something with Mr. Beast. I don't care for Mr. Beast. It's not a personal thing. It's not really anything. He's just not my cup of tea. I like his content's not content for me. It's one of those content
not aimed
creators.
For you at
Yeah.
all.
So when people were like, I can't believe the NFL's doing this, I was like, I can. Go look at how many followers he has. Just like the old Miami women's basketball player, the Cavender twins. They did something with the NFL, like I guess they're Cowboys fans. Did not know that.
She is engaged to a Cowboy, one of them? Because the other one dates now he's at Miami.
No, I think they broke up. I think that he
I'm locked in.
I think he might have
Why'd he
got to
transfer
Miami's
there?
campus and got a little involved with the campus life and
hold on.
Yeah,
One of them.
Little extracurriculars outside of the relationship. That was the rumor. So
you are locked in on this stuff.
Well, I saw it because I was like, I knew that Carson Beck was dating. I didn't know the other one. Shame on us as a society for knowing about the relationship that didn't work, but not knowing about the relationship that has.
Hold on, I got it.
This is on me. But I saw they were doing something with the NFL.
Jake Ferguson.
Oh, really?
Yep.
No way. Good for
They're
those two
engaged.
crazy kids. Well, no wonder they're Cowboys fans then. That makes sense. I saw them, the NFL posted a video with the two of them, and I was like, oh, people are going to be upset about this. First comment I saw was, this is worse than anything that Taylor Swift's done. And I was like, oh, why are we getting
This is what we're doing?
This is what we're upset about. So that was the 3 minutes of extracurriculars that no one needed in terms of the NFL's marketing plan. But well, not to say I don't care. But it's on YouTube tonight. That's what's happening tonight.
Okay, good to know.
Before we get to NFL notes at noon, real quick, I got a text this morning from my mom. She's like, I'm just texting you to make sure everything's okay. You stopped tweeting after a while.
Oh.
I didn't know this was from your mom.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Which was hilarious because I went out to watch the game.
That's amazing.
And the lightning delay. Like I saw where my phone was when I got out because I was done with the pregame show. I went to go meet my roommates to watch the game, and I saw where my phone was, and I was like, I think I can make it through the game. I was like, I think I'll be all right. Lightning delay happens. I was like, well, phone's gonna die. I was like, anyone that's just dying to get my take on the game on Twitter is going to be very upset. And then I thought about it, and I was like, anyone who's dying to get my take on this game on Twitter probably needs to log off for the evening.
There's a lot of people that are very active, that were at the game, very active on them.
Yeah, I was like, log off. Watch with the people you're watching with. You'll hear what I have to say about it at 10 o'clock. Which, again, remind you, every segment, 1-0. 1-0. This team is 1-0. We reacted to the Jaylen Carter situation, ejection, earlier in the show. We reacted to Jalen Hurts being just tremendous earlier in the show, and the secondary. We'll get back to all that, but now it's time to take you around the National Football League. It's the NFL Notes at noon. Sean Rodman, hit the music.
Alrighty, let's start out west with the 49ers. 49ers are hoping to get their star running back back this season, all fully healthy after he was dealing with calf injuries last year, but he popped up on the injury report yesterday as a limited participant and with that calf as well. I know he had injured both of them last year and was dealing with that for a long time, but can this guy ever be healthy again?
Dude, it lasted not even a game before he was on the injury report. Not even a game, and he's already on the injury report. Like
Unbelievable.
I you guys know I'm in 11 fantasy football leagues. A lot of fun yesterday setting those lineups
this year.
Yeah. How many are you in?
10.
10? Nice. See? Same kind of psycho. He's in a relationship. I have an excuse.
Too
I'm a
many.
single guy. I got a lot of time on my hands. He's got like 16 jobs. He's in a relationship, but he still finds time for 10 fantasy football leagues. So kudos to you, Sean Rodman, for that.
I don't know how I do it.
I don't know how you do it either. You also dealt with me more than anyone else over the last couple weeks. I don't know how you've done that either. But I
You're
will
telling
say, okay, relax over there. Let's not get chesty. Where are we going? Oh,
Follow along.
Christian McCaffrey, drafting in fantasy, I didn't for any of those 11 leagues. For this
I
exact
couldn't.
purpose, I don't trust him.
And
I
it
don't
was
trust
funny.
him to stay healthy.
You saw him get drafted, and you thought, listen, I never want to wish him ill. I think he's a tremendous player. I think there's probably times where he should have been the MVP of the NFL, but my goodness, man, that's tough.
Yeah.
Tough.
He's going to probably fall short of Canton because of this.
I mean, he's going to be known as the injury. He'll eventually probably get in because people will look at the entire thing, but
I don't know. The counting numbers when you go back and look, because I felt the same way.
You should look at some of the people that are in there.
All right, fair enough.
But yeah, I agree. I think it definitely will.
Yeah,
It's taken the shine off.
It
He's
has.
a tremendous player.
for sure.
Well, sticking with injury news and a player that's definitely not a Hall of Fame caliber player, but a solid one in Christian Kirk. He sustained a hamstring injury, and he's still estimated to miss this weekend and miss up to 2 weeks. They're going to be a little cautious down there. Now he's a Houston Texan, as the Texans still having receiver health issues down there starting from last season.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think John Mechie's changing their season one way or another, so I don't know if they're going to regret that trade, but I definitely feel like their injury luck with receivers has been absurd. Like, C.J. Stroud's got to be sitting there like, you got to be kidding me. Like, he probably watched that in practice. It was just like one of those where you just kind of like flip the football away for a second, like, come on, man. Like, really?
Yeah.
Or someone comes up and tells him, and he just like flips the playbook. It's like, again, this happens to me again. Like, not again. Kirk is, you mentioned it. He's not a superstar, but he's a serviceable receiver. You don't want to have him out there for you. It's all right, though, because for the Texans, all they have to do is outlast the trash in their division, and they'll be okay. So I'm not really concerned for them.
Speaking of, well, I don't know if you consider this trash at this point because the team's going to be a little bit better, but the Giants, they sold 10% stake as a $10 billion valuation to the Koch family. The Koch family has a 15% stake in BSE Global, which is the parent company of the New York Liberty, Brooklyn Nets, and the Barclays Center. The NFL owners still have to approve the deal, so not sure when exactly that is at this point, but the Giants sold 10% of their stake and still the third highest valuation right now in the NFL.
So you said that...
No, that math doesn't add up. The 10% is valued at...
Well, they didn't buy it for $10 billion. The valuation based off the 10% is about a $10 billion valuation.
This is why it's definitely going to be approved for that reason. If they valued and had someone pay for the Giants at 10% for a $10 billion value.
No.
Giants actually in Forbes came in at $10 billion. So I was going to say, I thought that was a little higher than their estimated value.
I do want to say I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Coke.
Coke?
Yeah.
That's fair.
So you said that, I was like, I don't think that's right.
Yeah, I was going to let him have the moment. Going to let him have that one.
It's all right.
Yeah, so I guess good for the Giants. More money coming in. It's still about who you spend it. Yeah.
Russell Wilson.
I mean, I guess the less that the Barr family's a part of what's going on there, Mara, whatever family is a part of that. We're having a banner segment here.
John Mara, you're good there.
The less influence, I don't know. I mean, he's still going to have a ton of influence over what they do. So, yeah, it good for them. Money is always nice. Maybe they're going to build something new up there. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out where the spin is here. If they're just trying to get cash in hands.
Yeah, no.
Money's good.
Would it be to maybe shell out more signing bonuses, kind of work around the cap that way?
That could be good.
Maybe they've got a mythical tree planting company that they're going to invest in.
Stay tuned for the Rodman Report.
Oh, man. Oh, what a tease right there. You got anything left? The NFL Notes at noon, or are you just going to walk off the stage with that?
I'll walk off the stage with that.
That was tremendous. Bounces back from the Coke thing and then ends up hitting us with the...
I love it.
Why do you spell it like that, though, if it's going to be pronounced?
I don't know.
What's your first name?
All right, fair.
Scene.
Fair.
Scene Rodman.
I think it's a German
Should have walked off the stage, man. Should have walked off the stage. Don't make us Jerry Stackhouse you.
It is spelled correctly.
It is spelled correctly. But yes, it's just how heritage.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm going to talk with my last name. It's the most phonetic way you could spell it, and people still butcher it.
Dune.
Oh, Dune.
Dune. I have the unnecessary E. Before, everyone was like, are you related to the gymnast? Everyone would always pronounce it Dune. Not everyone. There was people that understood, like Irish people understood. But I remember distinctly checking into a number of hotels, like with my dad. People are like, oh, Mr. Dune? Like, there's a second N there. That is what it counteracts the E being there.
It's fine. It also doesn't even make any sense.
It's unnecessary E. So it was like, oh, done with an E.
Oh, my gosh.
All right.
Sorry,
Should have walked off the stage. Should have walked off the stage.
He did not want to hear any more about your last name.
Oof. Gosh, I thought he was going to do that when I was talking about the fact that I stopped tweeting. Not that. God. There was ever a throwaway
I got
thing.
aggressive.
He's upset.
Wrong.
I also brought up the Jerry
Sure it
Stackhouse
was.
thing. I brought up
Yeah,
the
it was the
Stackhouse
Jerry
thing. That was
Stackhouse.
the.
That's when Vince Carter played for the Sixers. My face when he
missed
said
the
Vince
Sixers
Carter,
part
I
of
was
that
like,
yesterday.
Speaking of other teams in town, coming up, the Phillies won a big series. We're going to touch on that. Also, get more of your reaction to the Eagles' win last night. 1-0. 1-0. You can jump in with us 610-632-0975. She's Amy Fool. I'm Ray Dunn. Middays, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Friday, September 5th. Despite their
Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
We may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage bait to try to spark conversation. So make the switch to Unfiltered with me, Bill Colarulo, my man Ricky Bo, and Silvana Kelleher.
Every weekday at 2 p.m. right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
on 97.5 The Fanatic. 12 o'clock hour is brought to you by Service First HVAC, offering 0% financing for 48 months, rebates and tax credits up to $4,300 when purchasing a heating and cooling system. Learn more at servicefirsthvac.com. 1-0, Amy Fadul. I'm Ray Dunn, hanging out with Amy Fadul today. Sean Robin producing the show. The Birds, 1-0. And where we've been today, we spent extensive time in that opening hour talking about Jaylen Carter and the ejection. I want to be very clear here. I am not going to stand up here and say that I am looking for the Eagles to do anything beyond find him. I know that the people out there today are like, they should suspend him. If the league wants to suspend him, the league can. He already missed that game. He did not get to play in that game. Again, someday we're going to explain to someone how he was on the roster and not a part of the opening game. Like, oh, why didn't he start that game? Oh, he didn't play in that game? What happened? We'll have to explain that to someone someday that just looks at the game sheet. You know, Football Reference someday. The kid will go into Football Reference. Football Reference.
Wait a minute.
Oh, what happened that opener? You know, some sports nerd like myself will be like, oh, what happened there?
Here's the reason.
That's what happened.
Let me tell you, son.
I'll let you know what happened in that one.
And then there was this other spit.
Yeah, and there was, there was a second spitter. He was the second spitter. Once you spit back, that's all. It's like swinging on someone that swung on you. There's a lot of times you get called for the unsportsmanlike. I understand today that people, they won. He's your guy. He's on this team. You want to stand by him. But two wrongs don't make a right.
Oh, there's a life lesson for you.
Yes. Even if I don't have the mic'd up of what happened on the field. I don't have, I'm not a good lip reader because I see people, well, this is what Dak said to him. And this is them getting. You
can definitely see him say why. And I think Dak said afterwards, I was saying something like, why would I spit on you? You could see that's a very distinct lip movement.
Right. Well, I also think
why would I spit on you?
John Boy does a good job of the lip reading thing, so it's not really I don't want people he's throwing subliminals at John Boy. It's not necessarily him. It's more, I think a lot of people when they read lips on a television screen,
they want to
see what they want to see. The person says what they want to say. So you're going to say, well, Dak said this crazy, disrespectful thing. It's like, all right, do you know that? No. Or are you just speculating that because you're trying to read his lips in slow motion on a television
I think if he had said something really disrespectful, I will give Jaylen Carter credit because I wondered, would we hear from him after the game?
Yeah,
I was curious to what he did. Obviously, he sat in the locker room, had to watch, which I think is pretty embarrassing and awful because everybody comes in at halftime and they're staring at him like, hey, cool, thanks. What we could really use right now is you. So cool, thanks for that. So obviously, that I think helps when you're thinking about meting out some kind of punishment. But he was there standing at his locker when they walked in, and he very well, and I imagine there was some conversation.
Yeah, for sure.
You will be doing this. This is happening. And he says, okay, absolutely, I will take. If it had been something so egregious that in whatever mind that you've come up with
that you can't rationalize,
Jaylen Carter would have said, you guys wouldn't believe it. Should I have done it? No. But he said this and that. No. Jaylen Carter owned it. I shouldn't have done it. It wasn't great. Done.
Big night for Slim JD.
Yes.
Jordan Davis out there getting 87% of the snaps.
Jordan Davis is like, I know you guys wanted me to play more. This seems like a lot. This seems like a lot.
He's watching him walk off the field like, oh, no.
My God. He's good. He's here. He's just coming back, right? No.
Let's get what Carter said after the game because there is the original point of what he did was wrong. Him getting ejected hurt this team. But as we start to move past it, and we're also starting to move to the next portion of, reacting to this game, like Amy said, good to actually stand up at the locker and address the media and not run from what happened in this game.
It was a mistake that happened on my side, and just won't happen again. I feel bad for just my teammates and the fans out there. I'm doing it for them. I'm doing it for my family also, but the fans, they show the most love. You heard them out there today. Just not being able to start the game, even finish the game, just fucked me up. But
so again, he apologizes, and he also I love him catching himself. I know this is a really stupid thing for me to attach onto, and it's like one of those all right, radio guys, stop listening to the audio like that. When he's about to say, I wasn't able to finish the game, I was like, oh, actually, I wasn't able to start the game. Yeah. Like him jumping in there and correcting himself entertained me a little bit right there. But for Carter to address the media afterwards, I think he deserves credit there. And a lot of people are like, well, and I see it again. Ed is on our YouTube chat. Like, what about Dak's side and all this? I don't like Dak. Dak is a corny Cowboys quarterback. I don't like Dak particularly at all. If you believe that he spit at in his direction intentionally, okay, he's wrong there. But then Jaylen Carter's response to it is also still wrong.
Correct.
No matter what you make of Dak's portion of all that, I, again, will sit there and tell you I can't, again, sit here and excuse Jaylen Carter for the way he responded to it and for what it did to cost his team having him out there. That's the biggest thing.
That's the bottom line. That's what it is. And if you look at the side angle, whatever you thought Dak was doing, he did not hit Jaylen Carter. He was not making eye contact with Jaylen Carter when that happened. You've seen all the angles. We've seen the angles. There's two humans in front of him. He spit off to the side. Whatever you want to say. Whatever he was saying or whatever it was. The problem is that when they got within spitting distance of one another, Jaylen Carter looked him in the eye and did that. I mean, that was just... it came to mind. That's why they call it that. That's where there's a reason for the expression. Okay.
All right. The other Jalen Hurts loved his game last night. I think he did a really good job, especially moving that offense early on. I thought they got a little too conservative as an offense late in that game. I'll be interested to see with what they have in terms of a defense, how conservative they get late in games as compared to what they were previously. If we can still do the whole, hey, yeah, we're just going to run the clock out on you thing that they did a lot last year. So we're going to get back to react to the game with you at 610-632-0975. We also have Tim McManus of ESPN join us, as he will every Friday here on the Midday Show, coming up at 12:55. But the Phillies, 2-3. How about that? Over the Brewers. They win the game yesterday, and I got a text from you during that game. You were working, and just enlighten the people on what side that you've come to now, because I appreciate this growth from you as a human, as a Philadelphian, as someone who follows along with this Phillies team. Please enlighten the people what you were texting me about.
I was texting you about Harrison Bader, and
Mr. Incredible.
And I said I cannot believe I'm doing this, but I am now on the side of Harrison Bader.
Of Mr. Incredible.
Yes,
he's Mr. Incredible.
It was great. He had a great game. Great catch. I don't know if it was going to be a home run. I looked at the angles. It was definitely going to be something, like whether it was going to be a ground rule double or a home run. It was going to be something bad. And here he came through. It was a great grab. He plated a run.
Yep. Got things going. Yeah.
He is your everyday. Well, I'm fine with him being the everyday center fielder. It was hard for me. There was not a lot of juice when they made that trade, and now I'm getting why. So there were some, not a lot, but there was some juice. And you and Andrew Salciunas were juiced.
More Connor.
Well, Connor, yes.
Yeah.
But I feel like that was like a thing.
Yeah.
Like, this is pretty good. Look at this guy. And I was like, I don't know. Is this what we're getting jazzed about?
That's what I'm getting jazzed about.
We're jazzed.
Yeah,
I'm
Mr. Incredible in center field.
I'm sufficiently jazzed.
It's not just how he looks, it's how he plays now, folks. Big catch, the big hit, stot. Brian, wherever you are out there, Brian, I know, I think it's Brian Swanson's last name. He tweets, he's on the YouTube chat. Brian, I know you were celebrating somewhere. I'm pretty sure he tweeted me actually as it happened, but I was in the middle of pregame and I didn't get back to it. Brian, I'm very happy for you and Bryson Stott that your boy came through last night.
Yeah, 6, 7, 8, 9 all had hits.
Yeah. It's amazing. When you get production from the bottom of your lineup, what happens? Also, Turner driving in Bohm. That was nice to see.
That was big. That was the game that I played. How many runs? Everybody's like 0.
Yeah, they did it. And hey, Ranger, not overpowering, not dominant, but did a good job getting out of the situations that were put in front of him. So that was encouraging from Ranger Suarez. I mean, again, not allowing any runs is pretty encouraging just in general, but they were able to make it work. The bullpen, that might just be the way you're lining up right now. Robertson might have moved into the spot that Kerkering held in terms of leverage and trust. It went Suarez, went Robertson, Strahm, Duran. That might be the way you go moving forward, because I think that right now we're trying to work through whatever's going with Kerkering. And I think that I'm okay with a 7, 8, 9 of Robertson, Strahm, and Duran.
Yeah, and I don't know that we thought that we would be there, but that's exactly where we are with that. And I'm okay with that. Kerkering, it's just too wild right now. I can't.
I have to say.
Which is disappointing. I'm not going to say I'm completely abandoning him, but it's disappointing.
It is kind of painful for me. For the series that they take 2-3 over the Brewers, and in the decisive third game, Bader makes a big play, Robertson has a scoreless inning, and Duran closes it out, that it's the same day that I'm reacting to the Eagles-Cowboys. If you could have given me this separated,
You could have used that
because I would have came in here with a cigar and my Phillies Hawaiian shirt on. The fact that Robertson pitched a scoreless inning against the Brewers. The fact that Bader scored a run, made a big play in center field. I would have felt very vindicated for a lot. I'll be honest with you. So you're not getting that insufferable version of me today because the Eagles are 1-0. I'm going to be insufferable at other things. And some people think I'm insufferable all the time, and that's okay. That's all right, Amy. I'll live with that. Coming up, one thing that we're hoping we don't have to suffer through an entire season, going back to that secondary. How long is the leash for Adoree Jackson? How concerned are people about the rest of this month and who they have to face off against after what you watched last night? We'll break it all down for you. She's Amy Fadul. I'm Ray Dunn. Take you through middays here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Birds are 1-0 as they hold on for the win. I'm Sean Rodman, and Jalen Hurts and the offense answered after every Dallas scoring drive with their own. And despite A.J. Brown only receiving one reception in the game, the Eagles' defense pitched a shutout in the second half, and part of the defensive struggles early was due to Jaylen Carter being ejected prior to the first snap of the game. Nick Sirianni spoke post-game on the team, how the team will handle it moving forward.
Yeah, I'm going to keep all our conversations and all my disciplinary things in-house, but we got to fix it as coaches.
We'll keep you updated on any news surrounding Jaylen Carter. Eagles had a handful of injuries last night, including Landon Dickerson leaving the game early due to a back injury. Will Shipley left early as well due to a rib injury, and Ben Van Sumeren due to a knee injury on the opening kickoff. Phils win the series in Milwaukee yesterday as the team starts a 3-game series in Miami tonight. Christopher Sanchez gets the start for the Phils, and first pitch is at 7:10. This update is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. Looking for an exceptional driving experience? Experience the power, precision, and intelligence of an iconic Mercedes-Benz SUV at your local Mercedes-Benz dealer today. I'm Sean Rodman on the home of the best birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
We may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage bait to try to spark conversation. So make the switch to Unfiltered with me, Bill Colarulo, my man Ricky Bo, and Silvana Kelleher.
Every weekday at 2 p.m. right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
He's Amy
1-0.
Fadul. I'm Ray Dunn. 1-0. The Birds are 24-20. They beat the Dallas Cowboys. By the way, we're going to lean all the way back into the football conversation. One thing I left out, and yesterday I was very mean on these airwaves with regards to Pittsburgh and the Steelers and my just burning desire for them to lose.
You were like openly rooting for the Jets.
Yes.
I took a little bit of.
I want to say to our friends to the west of this state, thank you. I appreciate you. Do you know why I appreciate Pittsburgh today?
I don't, actually.
The Pirates.
Ooh, I think I know.
Took all 3 against the Dodgers
that's
this
right.
week. That's right, baby. Go Pirates, go.
You see their tweet the other day?
I did not.
Skeens' ERA is like 1.28 or something insane.
He's Cy Young's his. I'll give up the Chris Sanchez thing.
The tweet after on the 3rd, so a couple days ago when they won 3-0, they tweeted out, another rough day for Cowboys fans.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
That's well done.
Evil Empire. All right, down just looking at the standings there because I want to just quickly make note of that. Big for the Phillies to take 2 of 3 against the Brewers because it's taken 2 of 3 against the Brewers. But with the Dodgers dropping all 3 against the Pirates, they've now lost 5 of 6, by the way. Other teams do go through bad stretches. Other good teams go through bad stretches. Just want to point that one out. I'll react accordingly when my team does, but just point that out. Padres also have been bad. They've won 2 of their last 10, and they've lost 4 in a row. Phillies right now with a 3-game lead over the Dodgers for that 2nd seed. Pretty good. Take advantage of Miami this weekend. Please don't force me to come in here Monday and react to more baseball.
Or react in a good way.
Well, yeah, but if they take all 3 in Miami, the show on Monday is, all right, we've now gathered our thoughts on the Eagles. Phillies took care of business this weekend, and we go through more fine-comb bits of what's going on instead of panic through the streets. They start faltering in Miami with the Mets coming to town, then we're going to have panic in the streets.
Yeah, I think I saw someone, I don't know if it was on our chat or where, I think it was on a chat saying, like, it's the Phillies to go, like, 1-2 and then 3-1. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is.
Swept by the Mets, take 3 of 4, then take 2 of 3 from the Brewers, and then drop 3 to the Marlins in Miami.
You can't, and then all of a sudden welcome the Mets and be like, oh, yeah, we remember how to play baseball. You can't overlook the Marlins. The Marlins have played better as of late. They're obviously below you in the standings. They're not the worst team in the world. But no, you cannot. It's not.
So just shout out Pittsburgh. Shout out the Pirates
Pittsburgh.
for helping us out here. Back to the football conversation here. And I want to get quickly to the text line because I don't like neglecting our texters. All right, so it's 610-632-0975. We're going to go back to the phones as well. But give me a couple reaction texts, Sean Rodman.
I have one from, it appears to be not an Eagles fan. This person says, Jalen Hurts only threw for 152 yards last night in the Eagles win over the Cowboys. That marks Hurts' 9th win in throwing for less than 155 yards since 2021. That's 3 more than any quarterback in the same time span. To put into perspective, Drew Brees only won 7 games passing for 155 or less in his entire 20-year career. Keep telling yourself Hurts is elite.
That is someone that didn't watch the game.
That person fell asleep at halftime, saw they didn't score any points, and were like,
let's see what Hurts did. Oh, my gosh. That's it? Let me see the last 5 times he's done that.
Yeah.
Stop it.
I mean, good for you. If that's how you feel today, that's good for you.
You watched that game last night and thought Jalen Hurts is not a good quarterback. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. That's all right. You can watch that game and have that takeaway. I feel bad for you that you're going to live in a hypothetical world with whichever quarterback you want to hype up.
You can't tell him he's elite. Did you think he was elite when he won the Super Bowl?
That person's not going to give him credit for the Super Bowl.
Oh,
that person watched the Super Bowl and was like, "Oh, look at that defense." There's no credit.
How
to be
about in
given
the
to Hurts.
NFC title game? Do you think that?
I'm telling you that I know.
Like that,
I know people like that. They just drive me nuts, and that's okay. That person can watch and hate all they want. 1-0. Good luck to your team this weekend. Even worse if your team's the Cowboys. Because then that's just you coping today. Let's get another reaction tag.
Chris from Ohio checking in says, key takeaways. Hurts is a stud. Carter is a moron with no excuse for childish behavior. Offense was good, but a little stubborn on running up the middle. D-line was good and needs some extra milliseconds to attack Dak. And the quarterback 2 position is a massive hole. Sign Asante Samuel Jr.
Ooh, we're getting the ask for someone to come in. There we go. That's what I was waiting for today. I thought we were going to get to the solutions-oriented portion of reacting like Monday, but I'm glad that we've already started to go out there and start contacting agents to try and get ourselves someone in here to replace Adoree Jackson, who they already traded for someone to replace him that's sitting here on the roster. And they also have the guy in-house they want to win. There's just too many guys in that room right now for them to be like, yeah, I'm going to go grab someone else. I think we are a couple weeks away from the panic button there. And I don't know if the panic button's going to be Asante Samuel Jr. I think the panic button might be another trade.
Yeah, agreed.
which I listened to that go through the different motions of that text, like the good to the bad to the good to the bad. I just want to go back to the one before with the Hurts thing. I think maybe that texter also forgot that, like, if we look at the number of yards he actually contributed to this offense, it's over 200, including what he did with his legs. And if it looked like, if he woke up today and saw that, oh, Hurts had 200 yards passing, how would he have felt? Like, again, you got to get credit for moving the football. And that texter is the exact reason why. And I got some people that were clowning me like, really? Your reaction to the second touchdown Hurts ran in was, wow, I'm going to have to argue in April about Hurts standing again next year? Yes, because when he ran in the second one, I was like, crap. I was like, this is awesome, go Birds, but also like, this is terrible because I realized that all next season it's going to be, well, he only threw for 21 passing touchdowns. And it's going to be like, yeah, I just watched him take the football down the field for this offense on multiple drives, put them in a position to counteract everything the Cowboys are doing offensively. And some moron in May.
I was like, well.
I stopped myself. Some moron in May is going to be like, well, he actually did nothing for this team. And I'm going to have to fight that next offseason. I was just not even, I'm not looking forward to that. All right? Now, from that conversation to, I see the comment here on the phone lines. We're going to go to the phone lines here. And I like this caller, so I'm going to at least hear them out. Silver in Germantown. Silver, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, guys. How y'all feeling, man?
I'm feeling great. Want to know?
Want to know, beat the Cowboys. That's all you needed. And that's the main thing. So
we're keeping the main thing here.
So we're going to speak about the main thing, is the quarterback. Love Jalen Hurts. I just want to know, what are you thinking about, like, how he's releasing the ball and when he's, in the pocket, instead of, running out the right, rolling out like that? Do you think he should stay in the pocket a little bit longer and get rid of the ball a little bit faster? What do you think about that?
So they moved the football early, and a lot of that did have to do with his legs. And I'm okay with that because I also felt like the only time I felt like he took a risk with his legs was on a third down. You mentioned earlier, Amy, he ran for like 15, was able to pick up the first down. That's like if he thinks that moving the football and where he's comfortable moving the football early on in this season is that way, and he's going to be careful when he runs the football, I'm good with that because that's them moving the ball. And at some point, if a team says, wow, Hurts is getting out and scrambling a lot, we have to put eyes on him. We have to have a guy that's just dedicated to spying him and seeing where he's moving. That's one less guy that they are putting out there to try and stop AJ, to try and stop Devontae, to try and stop Dallas Goedert. So I'm okay with him doing that. I was okay with the way that moved. My biggest issue with passing game comes just, again, how conservative they got in the second half. They were doing the whole, that short passing game. It's like doing the running game, but it's passing the football. And I would like to see them, with all the weapons they have, continue to stay aggressive, especially because I didn't know that the Cowboys were also going to turtle up offensively.
Exactly. You just answered everything. Go Birds. Let's get them. Let's go for another one. And the last point, kind of slipped away because I was so in tune with what you were saying. It was so great. But I'm going to just leave it at that. Go Birds. Let's go 1-0.
Go Birds, Silver.
Yeah.
Good chatting with you. Sorry, I got passionate there about my the conversation about Hurts. I took the entire fire away from his phone
He was
call.
excited, though.
Yeah, it was good. So I can understand people wanting more from the passing game. I just don't necessarily think that it is a reflection of Hurts all the time when we're talking about getting more from the passing game.
And I think that's the thing. People want to they want to look for excuses, and sometimes you just look for the easiest one. And so you'll hear people talk about, and it doesn't mean there's not merit in certain nuances of the argument.
Right.
It doesn't mean that Jalen Hurts is perfect. It doesn't mean that Kevin Patullo was awful. You could have Kevin Patullo maybe had some growing pains. Maybe he was like locked in, and then they got a little too conservative. Jalen Hurts maybe should have been a little bit more for it. You could have both. You could have two things matter or mean the same thing.
They also have a formula from last year with how dominant that defense was of how to go into the second half with the lead and kill the game.
Yeah, true.
Will that work this year with this defense? We mentioned we're going to get in the secondary. We'll get to that coming up. Also, again, 12:55, we'll be joined by ESPN's Tim McManus. Look forward to breaking it down. First Friday with him. Break it down this game. We're going to have 2 Fridays before the next Eagles game.
That's crazy.
Man, next Thursday's going to suck. Actually, we're going to be reacting to Phillies Mets. That's going to be great. So, never mind. I'm just thinking, like, for me, I know that the juice of talking to the Eagles makes me want the next game to happen.
You want it right away.
It'll be the longest 10 days of our lives. But we'll have Phillies Mets, so maybe not the longest 10 days of our lives. She's Amy Fruel. I'm Ray Dunn. Take you through middays here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now, a Birds Insider update on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
The Eagles win. I'm Sean Rodman, and it wasn't pretty at times, but the Eagles had 9 penalties for 110 yards, including Jaylen Carter's unsportsmanlike conduct penalty before the first snap of the game. Carter was ejected after it appeared that he spit on Dak Prescott. Jalen Hurts spoke after the game with NBC on the team's lapse in judgment.
I think our discipline wasn't in it early in the game. We see that in the beginning of the game and how it started.
We'll keep you updated on Jalen Carter moving forward. A.J. Brown did not get his first and only reception until the fourth quarter. Landon Dickerson left the game early in the second half after he suffered a back injury. We don't know if it's the same back injury he's been dealing with prior to week 1. Ben Van Sumeren and Will Shepley also left the game early last night. Birds have 10 days until the next game when they travel to Kansas City for a Super Bowl rematch next week. I'm Sean Rodman on the home of the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Andrew Salciunas, Sean Kincade.
Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
We may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage bait to try to spark conversation. So make the switch to Unfiltered with me, Bill Colarulo, my man Ricky Bo, and Silvana Kelleher.
Every weekday at 2 p.m. right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
1-0. That's right, Amy. They're 1-0. She's Amy Fiddle. I'm Ray Dunn. I was just talking to the Unfiltered crew. I got Ricky all fired up. That was my bad.
Yes.
I was walking away. Savannah's like, look what you did. Yeah, it's on me. I saw Andrew DeCecco walking in. He flipped me off. He was like, you know what? That's the number of 50-yard field goals that Jake Elliott's already made this season. I'm lying. He didn't do that, but that would have been pretty great. I kind of wanted him to do that.
He's way too nice. Good stuff already out of him.
Yeah, he's got 4 hours ahead of him today with Unfiltered. So they got a packed house for today. Ricky's here. Checo's here. Savannah and Bill are usually here.
They're almost always here.
Yeah, but
it's still good to see them.
It's good. Yeah, it was good. I went and hung out with them for an hour yesterday.
And you talked to Bill. I heard you.
I know. Yeah. So
tried to say you might not.
Yeah. No, I tried not to. Then I got called into a meeting before I went down there, and they were like, "You have to talk to the guy that hosts the show." And I was like, "Fine,
Guess I will."
They're like, "Here's how it's spelled out in your contract."
Line 1, talk to Bill. Line
Charity
2,
work.
Be nice to be gone.
No, that we got rid of that clause.
That's a line
that was a negotiation tactic by me. I was like, you know what? If I have to talk to Bill, you can't force me to work with B Gun anymore. That's just how this works. But a good win. A good win. It's week 1, so it was weird. There are individuals to pick apart, but the fact that the team comes out of week 1 1-0, I feel good. I think that's where I've landed here. Good thing I figured that out 2 hours and 45 minutes into the show, but a good win. I feel good today. And I think a lot of people wake up today, and as the annoyances and the little things that bothered you yesterday start to subside, you realize you're 1-0. I think a lot of people are getting to that point. And I feel good today. Yeah, I'm in a good spot. Let's go to North Philly and talk with Reese. Reese, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
We got you.
Oh, so, yes, the game last night, I literally felt like I was watching a game from 2022, the season that Hurts was going to win MVP, and he was doing all these kind of cool but kind of subpar things in games. But it felt like it had an appearance with Saquon Barkley in it. And, I just feel like the defense didn't know what they wanted to do out there. And I don't know if this is true or not, but this is the first time the Eagles defense has played Dak Prescott in a couple of seasons, right?
Yeah, Dak didn't play against them all last year. He was injured.
Right. So I think that this was Vic trying to feel him out for if he's healthy in the next game. I think we take him the next game, and we make him pay for thinking that he could come here and win the game when we were getting our banner and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I think if this game's played a few weeks from now, given the names on paper, and maybe the Cowboys are going to show us something that they haven't, but given the names on paper, and also if the name in the middle there on the defensive line is out there for the entire game, I think it does play out a little bit differently. I will say, though, and you mentioned the defense testing things out. I think offensively, the second half, again, felt like them trying to go through what they've done before and seeing if they can just run out the clock on a game, and I didn't love that necessarily. When you mentioned defensively, the Makuba-Sidney Brown tandem feels like something they're testing out.
Yes.
All right, this is how does this work?
I like
and obviously
a tandem instead of a platoon.
Adoree Jackson.
Then not having Carter last night kind of just blew, because I feel like if Carter is in this game, and I have no respect for Cowboys at all, we're up 21-7 at halftime.
It makes a big difference.
Yeah, it does make a big difference. And Reese, good talking to you, and appreciate you checking in here on the win. I will say, one of the big winners of last night, we haven't mentioned him because, it's a lot of big picture stuff. Byron Young.
Right. Well, it was funny. There was one play earlier on, like, oh, who was in on that? I was like, oh, Byron Young. And then on the forced fumble, you're like, oh, Byron Young.
And
hey,
he also dropping interception's tough. The ball bounced back to him, and he was diving to try and make that play. He's a defensive lineman. I don't exactly expect that one. It was one of those plays where I did stand up. I was like,
come on.
Stand up from the chair. I was like, that's going to be.
Come through.
I've slowly become my dad, is what I realized. I'm watching games, and I'm like, I am just my father watching this game. And it's, nothing against the way my dad watches games, but the reactions now, it's happened. Salciunas tweeted me last night. Because I tweeted at halftime, "Would love a stop in the second half," and he just responded, "Dad?" Question mark. Dad has a point.
Got to get a stop here. Well, you got to answer them.
Yeah, it's literally both those things. I think I said within like a half hour.
That's great.
Span of one. Let's go back to the phones here at 610-632-0975. Go to Jake on the cell. Jake, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. I feel like kind of what you said, the most important things that they won yesterday. But I mean, everybody remembers last year, the beginning of the season was pretty rough.
Yep.
And I mean, it didn't really matter in the end. Just like I feel like it's the same way now. Where as long as they can just get wins in the beginning of the season, the style points don't matter as much.
There we go. It took almost 3 hours. We got the first style points reference. I was waiting for it. Thank you, Jake.
I love it.
I don't have anything to give you, but you win the prize of the call I'll remember most today.
A win's a win.
I'll take it. And then also with Jaylen Carter, I wanted to say that what Dak did, it made me hate him the most out of any Cowboy now. But Carter still has to. He's still got to restrain himself, and he can't be doing that. It's costing his team too much, and
that's the
hopefully
thing.
he gets that. And
that's the thing. Like,
he'll be a little smarter.
Regardless of how you feel, and Jake is one of the fans that looks at Dak and says Dak spit at him, and everyone's creating their own reality of the situation. The reality of whatever Dak did, and the reality of whatever you feel Dak did, the response can't be that way. And Jake lays it out there. It can't be that way, and you put yourself in a position to hurt your team. So however you want to slice up what happened in the lead up to it, the response to it was wrong.
Yeah, and I think Jake brought that up. He goes, yes, I don't like this strong that Dak is your least favorite Cowboy of all time.
Now, no, of all the Cowboys, I thought right now.
Oh, okay, from right now. Okay.
Like, I'll be honest with you. How many more of them do I hate?
I don't really like. You just don't even regard them half the
Right,
time.
that's what I'm kind of saying. Like, I don't necessarily have any regard for a lot of them because
they're
not good.
irrelevant.
Yeah, like if they were a
Dak
good
hadn't
team.
played them. I think you actually have to go back like maybe even like 2 seasons. The last time he actually faced the Eagles, because one of the times it was like the last game of the season and he didn't play in that. I can't remember which, but I would have to. I feel like it's been a couple of years.
Yeah. I mean, he's been traditionally good. He still has the interceptionless streak going. By the way, turnover battle. We talked about it. Turnover battle.
I'm always a big proponent of the
Yeah.
turnover. You said
Miles Sanders.
You said even.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. She's aiming
No
for.
sacks though.
Yeah.
No sacks. There's a big reason for that. It was hanging out in the
So
locker room.
I'd like to shout out my good friends at FanDuel because I went on the app today.
Oh.
Some of us had the Jaylen Carter sack prop. They voided it.
Most FanDuel did, DraftKings did. I saw somebody else did.
Okay. My good friends at FanDuel.
Your good
voided
friends.
it.
I had
So
a
we're
guy,
shouting out FanDuel today.
Yeah, there's a guy that told me from FanDuel that they were going to get it voided.
Yeah. So, and I saw that it was voided.
2023.
Didn't help any of the other picks I had, but
2023. That's
Shout
the last
out.
time Dak played.
shout out FanDuel for voiding that Jaylen Carter sack. I appreciate you. Coming up next, we're going to get to talk to a man that covers the team for ESPN. Tim McManus joins us to break down everything going on with that Birds game yesterday alongside Amy Fduel. I'm Ray Dunn. This is Middays, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The Birds hold on for the win. I'm Sean Rodman, and Jalen Hurts and the offense answered after every Dallas scoring drive yesterday. Despite A.J. Brown only receiving 1 reception late in the game, the Eagles defense pitched a shutout in the second half as well. Part of the defense's struggles early on was due to Jaylen Carter being ejected prior to the first snap of the game. Nick Sirianni spoke post-game on how the team will handle it.
Yeah, I'm going to keep all our conversations and all my disciplinary things in-house, but we got to do it. We have to fix it as coaches.
We'll keep you updated on any news surrounding Jaylen Carter. Eagles had a handful of injuries last night, including Landon Dickerson leaving the game early due to a back injury. Will Shipley left due to a rib injury, and Ben Van Sumeren hurt his knee on the opening kickoff. Phillies win the series in Milwaukee yesterday. The team starts a 3-game series in Miami tonight with Christopher Sanchez on the mound for the Phillies. First pitch is at 7:10. This update is brought to you by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies with national LTE coverage. For a limited time, get 60% off and free UPS shipping at rapidradios.com. Use code radio for an extra 5% off. I'm Sean Rodman on the home of the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
We may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage bait to try to spark conversation. So make the switch to Unfiltered with me, Bill Colarulo, my man Ricky Bo, and Silvana Kelleher.
Every weekday at 2 p.m. right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
One o'clock hour, closing it on here on the Midday Show, reacting.
It's the, what time is it? It's the
1 o'clock hour.
1:00 hour.
Oh, look at you.
That's what they pay me the small bucks for.
Hey. That's why we love having you around. She's Amy Fadul. I'm Ray Dunn. Sean Robin producing the show. You listen on WPEN, WPN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group Station, broadcast live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. And we are going to start out a few minutes before the 1:00 clock hour.
Thank you.
With the man that covers this team for ESPN. Last night on the pregame show, I got to talk to him for the first time in months. You know, off-season happens. I wasn't able to keep up with this guy. One of my favorites. I always say, you judge the guest by the conversation you have off the air before you put them on the air.
Stuff.
And he is an elite off-air conversation. Sean Robin shaking his head right now. Just an elite guest, the off-air conversation before you put him on the air. He is the man that covers the team for ESPN, the one and only Tim McManus. Tim, how are you today?
Ray, Amy, how's it going? Good to be with you.
Good to hear from you, bud.
You're tired right now? I can only imagine the night went much longer than you anticipated.
That extra hour. You need it.
A little lightning delay.
No big deal.
A little lightning delay in the middle of a game. You know, it's extended some things. I think I got out of the link at like 2:30. Got to bed around 4:30 last night. So, you know, fresh as a daisy over here.
Yeah, this is your morning show right here.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good to have you.
Exactly. Thank God for the wife taking the early shift today.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go. Tim, I want to start with the biggest story of the start of that game, the situation with Jaylen Carter. I want to know, is there anything that you know about what's going on right now with the league looking into this, and do you expect anything further happening with Jaylen Carter after he was ejected last night?
Yeah, so there's nothing in stone quite yet. We talked to Nick Sirianni late last night, or I guess early this morning, and he said that they'd be having those conversations internally. He was asked if there was going to be any disciplinary measures from the team, and he basically said, we're going to keep all that stuff in-house. I've also reached out to the league to see if there's going to be anything on the fine or suspension front from Carter. And as soon as that becomes solidified, I'll be getting some information. I think as far as a fine, we could probably expect that, right? I mean, I think that there's a fine coming. Whether the fact that he was basically missing for the entirety of the game, whether the NFL factors that into giving him a suspension or not, we'll see. But obviously, it's something that can't happen. I mean, this was a team that was really revved up. I talked to Jordan Mailata about that in the locker room, and he was just talking about sort of the confluence of events, which all of us in Philadelphia felt, where it's banner night, it's a Thursday night game, home opener against the Cowboys. the energy is going to be super high. The juice is going to be at the highest of levels, but you have to play disciplines. And when you have a team that basically has more penalty yards in the first half than they did all last season in any single game, you see that the discipline just was not there, and that's something they have to get corrected as they move through what's a very difficult schedule.
One thing when we're looking at it, when you have to get through the rest of the game, early on the returns for Adoree Jackson were very questionable at best. And we heard from Vic Fangio saying, yes, he's going to give him a long leash. And I was saying earlier on this show that I was surprised that maybe he didn't keep Bennett out when Adoree Jackson, even after he was cleared for concussion protocol. So it is only one game. It's maybe not a surprise. And I know for you, Tim, especially going to practices and training camp, that side of the secondary has been a problem. Going forward, how much do you think they're going to let Adoree Jackson kind of figure this out on the field, given the fact they play the Chiefs? It isn't 10 days, but it's still the Chiefs coming up.
Yeah, and Amy, it's not just an isolated thing, even though it was one game. It really kind of speaks to what we did see during the course of the summer training camp, and that was that the CB2 just never got an answer. And as much as they wanted to paint it up, it just never happened. I mean, they wanted the job to go to Keely Ringo, I think, and he didn't grab it. And then Adoree Jackson was the best out of those options, but it's not like he really distinguished himself over the course of those training camp practices or in the preseason. And you saw that Dallas picked on him. And I think that you're not always going to go up against a 1-2 punch at the receiver position that the Cowboys have, but you can be sure that from here on, including in Kansas City, that opposing teams are going to be targeting that spot. And that is a different reality than what the Eagles were operating with last year when you had Darius Slay and you had Quinyon Mitchell, just that's playing at such a high level that it opened so many other things up for the rest of the players and for defense coordinator Vic Fangio. I just looked at the next-gen stats. Adoree Jackson, according to them, allowed 5 receptions for 103 yards on 7 targets, had 2 missed tackles, and, of course, the pass interference right in the end zone there. So it was not a good night for him, and I kind of felt like Jacorian Bennett in the limited snaps, at least from where I was standing, it felt a little bit more controlled when he was in the game. Like you felt a little bit more of a comfort level. I'm curious if Fangio is going to reassess and end up playing Bennett more, starting in week 2.
Do you think we're going to see more of Quinyon Mitchell moving around with the best receiver on the other side? Because that was something out of last night that I was curious if we get to that point. Because I know they didn't necessarily commit to ever doing that in the preseason, but I know it was a talking point at least at one point.
Yeah, no, and he did that. He did a bunch over the course of the summer. So Fangio is preparing for that. I think the difference between some other scenarios that we'll see come up here in the near future and week 1 against the Cowboys is that when you have CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, then maybe it doesn't make as much sense to be moving your top cornerback to one player versus another. And so you remain a little bit more static. Whereas I think if you have a clear-cut number 1, I think it absolutely, especially after the evidence that we got in that first game against the Cowboys, it makes sense to make sure that you have Mitchell try to lock down that top target. So I think that's coming.
On the flip side, a lot's going to be made of, and we've actually heard about someone that kind of talked into our talking point. And admittedly, the person was not an Eagles fan. Like, Jalen Hurts didn't throw the ball enough. Jalen Hurts obviously passed more than the eye test. He looked, I thought, really great at times, good decision making. But the other thing that's going to stand out when you do look at it and in watching the game was a lack of targets to A.J. Brown. And the only reason I think it even comes up early on is because of how their relationship kind of turned last year, or at least seemed to turn. They all it was water under the bridge. Going forward, I'm sure there's going to be frustrations. How much do you think they're going to try to make a little bit more of a concerted effort just to get those guys more involved?
I remember a couple years ago in the opener against Detroit, I think it was, where Devontae Smith, he didn't come away with any catches.
Yeah, the single catch, I remember that. And then they went crazy.
Yeah,
remember that?
Week, they just fed him. They just fed him right after that.
Right,
and I think that you're probably going to see some of that. I just got done rewatching that game from last night, and there were opportunities for Brown here and there, but I think that the Dallas did a nice job of, and Sirianni spoke to this after the game, of matching some of the routes. And so there was a couple times where you would have, like there's one instance I'm thinking of in particular where A.J. Brown's running a curl route, and the safety drops at his depth to take that away, and then Hurts ends up hitting Dallas Goedert underneath, and there was just a lot of that sort of going on. The passing game, maybe it wasn't as spectacular as you would hope. I think that Hurts's comments post-game were kind of telling when I asked him about how the operation went with him and Kevin Patullo, and he was mostly glowing about it, but said, sometimes you don't want to be reactive. You want to be a little bit more proactive. So I think it's, maybe getting a little bit more on the aggressive side from a passing standpoint might be something that they talk about moving forward. A.J. Brown, obviously, a really big part of that. So I think before long, we'll see Brown get going.
Yeah.
We're talking to Tim McManus here of ESPN, and a lot was made, I know, certainly by us and just in talking leading up to the game, some callers, fans we were getting reaction from about the new offensive coordinator and how it would look. How did you assess, kind of going deeper into that point just brought up of Hurts and Patullo in the operation, how did you assess the operation from a full game standpoint, given how hot it started and then how stagnant it got a little bit late?
Well, the fact that it started out hot is different. I mean, if we remember back from last year and people pulling their hair out because they couldn't score in the first quarter, that was a storyline that lasted, into November, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that was...
We got to do the old
slow start.
Julio Jones is the last Eagle to have a first quarter touchdown. I remember breaking out that stat every week for about 2 months.
Yeah, and then here they came right out of the gates and they scored some touchdowns. So at least that puts that narrative to bed and shows that Patullo had a game plan that was effective early on, and then things slowed down. It's kind of a weird game to assess because both offenses really started to stall after the delay of game. And nobody could be stopped, before the lightning came, and then after the lightning came, nobody could score. So, how much of that is Patullo adjustments, etc. There were a couple corner blitzes in succession that I watched where the offense just didn't really seem to have a great answer for. So I don't think it was a perfect game for Patullo. I think there are things to clean up, but I think if you look at it as a whole, the fact that it's his first game calling plays, first game working that operation with Jalen Hurts, and that they got off to that fast start, there's probably more encouraging things than not to build off of.
Speaking of encouraging, Jahad Campbell just absolutely, I thought, acquitted himself more than adequately. Playing alongside a guy like Zach Bond, I think that Vic Fangio, for me, a guy like Vic Fangio that wants to be able to run certain things, he's got two guys that are going to be able to run, I think, everything that he would like to run. You gave him car keys to 2 Maseratis. And I think that this is something that I think he's going to get better. He's still going to make those mistakes, and you're going to see that. But I would think that that's a guy that certainly has turned a lot of heads and has given into some of the expectations at this point early on.
An embarrassment of riches at linebacker.
Right?
What
who are we? Who are we?
What is going on? I don't even know who we are anymore. And Campbell, I agree. What a debut. He flashed every day during training camp. It wasn't always perfect. In fact, I think in pass coverage was really sometimes where it got shaky. I remember a couple times that he gave up, whether it was a wheel route against Will Shipley or a touchdown to where he blew an assignment during the joint practices against the Browns, and you're like, okay, the passing game's maybe where he needs some refinement. And then you see that play where he just carries the field with Ferguson and comes up with that PBU, and it's like linebackers really don't do that. So you recognize that you have a special talent, and to your point, Amy, it's paired with another special talent in Zach Bond, who has a similar skill set in that way. That just opens up so many things. While we're talking about the restrictions in the secondary with the questions at safety and CB2 in particular, the flip side of that for Fangio is that if you have two linebackers like that, man, how creative can you get? And what different looks can you present an offense that they're not normally presented because they just don't have that ability at the linebacker position. So it's a new day in Philadelphia, I guess.
I like it.
I like this new day. I'm a big fan of this new day. I'm a big fan of getting a chance to catch up with you. We'll do this every Friday, right around now in this 1 o'clock hour. We won't have another game to react to next Friday. We'll get back into the preview, because this is usually my preview. When I hear Tim McManus' voice on the Midday show, I know, all right, 1, I'm close to the weekend. But 2, also, I'm very close to a new game happening. So this is a little off-putting for me, almost the way that we're reacting to something instead of previewing something. But, Tim, always appreciate you making the time.
Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your Sunday, Tim.
Get some sleep.
Thanks, you guys, too. Next time we talk, we'll be previewing the Super Bowl rematch.
That's
so pretty cool.
It'll be awesome.
Good
Tim,
stuff.
appreciate you joining us on the Comcast Business Hotline. Tim McManus covers the team for ESPN. And it is weird. The Friday reaction.
It's usually a preview.
Yeah.
Friday's a preview day, but not.
Yeah, it's almost like I'm Tim, like,
Wait a
what are we
minute.
gonna
We're
talk
talking
about
about
in
a
week?
game?
Yeah.
A real one?
We'll have plenty to get into next week, though. That Super Bowl rematch, I'm not ready to turn the page yet. I'm going to play a game with you coming up.
Okay.
Concern confirmed, concern arrived, and concern put to bed. 3 categories.
Okay.
We're going to go from last night.
Confirmed, arrived, put to bed.
Yes. So a new concern we
Came
found
up.
last night,
I put one to bed.
and then one we have confirmed.
One that is, yes.
I think we all know the one that's confirmed. I'm just curious what concerns we have that showed up last night that we think are long-term problems.
Okay.
You can complain about what you saw, but do you think it's something that's a long-term problem? That's the difference. Because we're in the 1 o'clock hour. Now we're looking at, not ahead, but trying to see what the big picture is. We've reacted. We'll continue to take your reactions at 610-632-0975. She's Amy Frul. I'm Ray Dunn. This is Middays, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Philadelphia Union Soccer.
Evander pushing back to his left. Still has.
Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
We may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage bait to try to spark conversation. So make the switch to Unfiltered with me, Bill Colarulo, my man Ricky Bo, and Silvana Kelleher.
Every weekday at 2 p.m. right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Working our way through the 1 o'clock hour here on the Midday Show. Like, today's one of those days where, one, the Phillies take it 2-3 from the Brewers. The Dodgers losing. What does it mean? The Phillies have this weekend in Miami. That, I feel like I could power 4 hours of conversation.
Right, that's a lot.
This game with the Eagles, I feel like I could power 4 hours of conversation. I'm going to hand things over to Unfiltered at 2 o'clock because I already got the text from American Airlines that my flight boards in less than 2 hours. So I can't stick around. But it's one of those days where you feel like you could do 12 hours of radio.
Exactly. There's a lot of conversation.
Yeah. And you wouldn't get tired of it.
No, there's plenty.
Sometimes, you get to the 1 o'clock hour, you're like, man, it's been a day. Right now, I'm just as fired up, maybe even a little bit more, a little fired up because I was a little tired. So the lightning delay did a number on everyone. Everyone's night went back by an hour.
And they came on 11:17, and then it wasn't like 11:17 was the restart. It was like 11:17, and then they'll have at least 10 minutes.
Right.
I was like, oh.
Well, yeah, and that's
11:30 is what we're looking at here.
And all.
Yeah, you got to get back in the groove.
It's like, oh, I'm so tired.
But you were still locked in.
I'm still fired up
still
today.
watching. We were still watching.
I got a Ricky energy to me where I'm just kind of bouncing around, jumping around, just ready to go. And I'm again, fired up. Amy, I don't think we pointed this out yet. They're 1-0.
Are they?
They are 1-0.
And the funny thing is, they're the only team that's 1-0. So if you look at the
That's
entire
true.
NFL, there's a team that has one win, there's a team that has one loss, and there's a bunch of notices.
Should we root for a tie tonight in Brazil?
Yes, let's do it.
So I'm a little upset I'm not going to be able to watch. So I'll be in the air, and you get the TV in the air, but you don't get the YouTube in the air.
Yeah, they don't like when you can't really stream. Their Wi-Fi and the signals.
I'm not paying for Wi-Fi anyways. I'm a free
You're probably
20 minutes
also on
guy.
a regional jet, and there's no way there's Wi-Fi on that thing.
Oh, it's a good point. So I'm flying. I'm
you're in the
connecting.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The only time that I could get a direct flight was during this show. And it was I'm not missing the show.
Thank
I
you
love
for that.
my sister, and I'm excited to go visit her, see, my parents already got down there for family weekend down there. But I don't love them to the point of skipping this show and taking a direct flight for family weekend. Coastal Carolina and Charleston Southern, the game I'm attending tomorrow night, 7:30.
Big rivalry.
Yes, I'm excited for that one. But yeah, that's a connecting flight for me. So I'm going to Charlotte. I'm going to go to the Bojangles inside the Charlotte airport, one of my favorite places in the world. And then I'm going to go from there to Myrtle Beach. Looking forward to that. That's my weekend. I'll be back Monday. Don't ask how I'm getting back. It's another connecting flight. We're going to go to Mark in a second here. And Mark is going to get into some of the concerns that he had about the game. And you can jump in with us at 610-632-0975. So we're going to classify our concerns. That's what we're calling the game. Classify your concern. Concern about Adoree Jackson, to me, is concern confirmed. What we're worried about,
check.
It is now real. The second cornerback spot is just as real a concern as it was going into this game, even more so now, because you're going up against Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, and you imagine they're going to scheme something up pretty beautifully to exploit your one big flaw right there at second corner. Yeah. So that's a concern that we've confirmed.
Correct. Done. Check.
Concern put to bed for me. Patullo. I don't love the second half, but I'll be honest with you. If they're going to start like that with this talent on this roster, if you could start games like that, I believe in your ability to put teams to bed.
Okay.
So I think my concern of Patullo has been put to bed.
So you had that's why I guess the question is, you labeled that a concern over Patullo?
I got a concern people had.
Okay.
So if you had that concern, because we got the calls this week, and I was like, maybe I haven't factored.
You're right.
I kept saying.
I remember we talked to Torrey Smith about it.
Yeah, I kept saying, I don't know. I haven't really factored in as much my concern about Patullo in a while. We talked about it over the offseason, but as we got closer, and I was like, maybe it's just, because I think I asked you yesterday, literally in the second segment, is it more concern over Patullo, or is it my lack of concern about the Cowboys defense? And maybe it was more my lack of concern about the Cowboys defense that led me to feel good about Patullo. Ultimately, I think the concern over him, I kind of put that one to the side after 1 week.
Yeah. And there were some concerns, that's a too harsh a word. But there were some questions about, one, what is Jalen Hurts going to look like in this Kevin Patullo offense? So I think those can kind of go together, right?
Right.
I feel like that those are two things you could check off.
Now, what concerns have you arrived at following this?
Have I arrived at that I didn't foresee?
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I would say offensive line is maybe becoming a little bit of a concern. Just a thing in the back of my head of
It's a lot that Dickerson's going through, and it's only one game of the season.
Yeah, and then it's a lot to ask because that line is very, very dependent upon, and rightfully so. You've got guys that are, one definitely a future Hall of Famer in Lane Johnson. You've got guys that are highly paid and highly skilled and one of the best offensive lines, not only for your run game, but for the fact that you have Jalen Hurts protection-wise and running-wise. So I would say that's one that I didn't foresee. I wasn't going to register. And then obviously when you see Landon Dickerson go down and then still some maybe questions about Tyler Steen, I would think that's the one that's popped up for me.
Did you just want to read my notes?
Oh, no, sorry. I'm so sorry.
That was exactly where I was at. I was like, yeah, the
Sorry.
offensive line right there. That was the one where just Dickerson's health more because you already have the change at right guard, and
Right.
it's just a different right guard line. Like Tyler Steen just doesn't have the physicality and the size of Mekhi Becton. Like that's just part of who Mekhi Becton was, part of what you're able to do. Yeah. So you're already changing that within the interior of that offensive line. Now the Dickerson health is one that sticks out to me. 6 carries for Saquon, no yards in the fourth quarter. Something that we did not anticipate. But I want to go to Mark now in Boston, voice some of his concerns. Mark, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, everybody. Can you hear me?
We got you.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I'm really concerned because, it's not the fact that, okay, the secondary is, suspect. It's the fact that they can't get off the field on third down. So every time the other team gets the ball, they'll score. You can't win like that in this league. If they don't fix that, they're going to win probably 9 or 10 games if they don't fix that. There's no way you can win in this league that way. And the thing is, you saw some encouraging signs, Jahad Campbell's a stud, Zach Bond is still tip-top form. All the players we thought were going to be good are still good. Problem is, we're so top-heavy, there's no depth. So, like you said, with Brett Toth, they stink. I mean, it's one player away in every position group, except for linebackers, because they're loaded at linebacker. It's one position group, one player away from every position group that could just trash the season. And that's what's scary. And why didn't they get AJ the ball? That doesn't make a bit of sense. He's your best. He's an all-world, monster. Why didn't they not target him early and often? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, that's something. I guess if I'm going with the talk about Kevin Patullo, that's one thing that he mentioned leading into this, that he wanted them to get touches for all their best guys, and he did not get that to happen. And maybe a credit to what the Cowboys did. Tim McManus, you just heard him, said he went back and watched and felt like it was a lot of what the Cowboys were doing and not necessarily the Eagles' game plan not to go to A.J. Brown. And I can't imagine they would ever game plan not to go to the guy. But that's something they have to do. And you mentioned it, and it's something Jeff Mosher said to us a week or two ago, whenever we had Jeff Mosher on. Just looking at this team, his biggest takeaway, one of the biggest takeaways from camp was the depth is not there the way it was before with this group, and certainly a season ago.
Yeah, and again, did you guys think to yourselves every time the Cowboys got the ball, they can't, Eagles can't get off the field, and it's helpless?
You were thinking oh my gosh, please don't score here. At least limit them. Don't let them cross. And to Mark's point, it did feel like every time, certainly in the first half, it was oh God, well, here we go.
4 for 5 on third down.
Here we go. They're going to convert, and it's going to be points. And they have a great kicker. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
They're a great kicker.
Well, and that's the thing. They get themselves on the other side of the 50. You feel like something's going to happen.
He's going to be in good shape.
So they were 4 for 5 on third down in the first half, and then they were 3 for 6 in the second half. So the Eagles got them down all the way to a 50%, baby. Woo! Way to go in that second half, slowing them down.
Comparatively.
Yeah.
But yeah, that definitely was a little bit more. But it's
on
not a
the
concern.
positive side, the Eagles themselves also 60% plus on third down, 5 for 5 in the first half. Nobody wants to stop anyone.
But you expected it from the Cowboys defense.
It was weird how the two teams paralleled each other, and just the way everything worked early offensively and nothing worked late, and everything went defensive. And the lightning delay, it's also just week 1. Welcome to week 1, people. Weird football happens. I'm sorry for those of you that had the 8.5. I am.
Ooh.
I was thinking about teasing it down to a 5.5, and I'm glad I didn't, because I would have just been shut out again.
That would actually have been worse.
Oh. The morning show was talking about how much money they're making people with their 4 picks of a week that they do at the end of their show on Friday.
Oh, yeah.
If I did that, it would just be the Fade the Ray show. Like that, it would be just Fade Ray to the end.
whatever you're doing, this isn't it.
Yeah, I think I made the joke to you off air that I'm funding next week's Broad Street line.
I was going to say.
Yeah, I got the service is on me. All right, coming up,
you're welcome.
We got the Rodman Report. We'll get some more text reacting to the game at 610-632-0975. And later this hour, because we're wrapping up here. What are we watching this weekend? Who are we watching? What do you want to see?
All kinds of stuff.
I can't wait. More football. It's the best time of the year. She's Amy Fadul. I'm Ray Dunn. This is Middays, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Lightning delays, week 1, ejections, we have it all. I'm Sean Rodman, and Jalen Hurts and the offense answered every Dallas scoring drive yesterday. The Eagles' defense pitched a shutout in the second half as well. Part of the defense's struggles early was due to Jaylen Carter being ejected prior to the first snap of the game. Nick Sirianni spoke to Postgame on how the team will handle it.
Yeah, I'm going to keep all our conversations and all my disciplinary things in-house, but we got to do it. We have to fix it as coaches.
We'll keep you updated on any news regarding Jaylen Carter. ESPN's Tim McManus joined us earlier, and he said he expects a fine. Not so sure if any word on yet if they'll be suspended next week. Eagles had a handful of injuries as well last night, including Landon Dickerson leaving the game due to a back injury. With Will Shipley and Ben Van Sumeren also left the game early as well. Eagles have announced that they've signed Javon Baker to the practice squad today and have released Antoine Powell-Ryland, the Eagles' 6th-round draft pick this season. The Phillies win the series in Milwaukee yesterday. The team starts a 3-game series in Miami tonight. Christopher Sanchez gets the start for the Phils. First pitch is at 7:10. This update is brought to you by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies for national LTE coverage. For a limited time, get 60% off and free UPS shipping at rapidradios.com. Use code radio for an extra 5% off. I'm Sean Rodman on the home of the best birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
We may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage bait to try to spark conversation. So make the switch to Unfiltered with me, Bill Colarulo, my man Ricky Bo, and Silvana Kelleher.
Every weekday at 2 p.m. right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
We may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage bait to try to spark conversation. So make the switch to Unfiltered with me, Bill Colarulo, my man Ricky Bo, and Silvana Kelleher.
Every weekday at 2 p.m. right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray John, taking you through this Victory Friday. 1-0. 24-20, the victory. We got the Rodman Report coming up in a second. One of our great segments here that we really enjoy. The Rodman Report. That's coming up in a...
You're really selling it.
Yeah, we love it.
It's like we really love it.
We love it. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
That was a great job.
This guy over here. I remember what you said before the show.
He loves it.
I didn't say it.
Ranked at number 6.
What?
Out of 5.
What? That doesn't sound like me.
You almost started to say it while I wasn't in the room either. Then you waited for me to come back.
Well, it hits better when you're there.
I wouldn't talk about you behind your back. I'll talk about you right to your face.
It hits
better. I know, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
As well. But you didn't even look around to see if I was there, and then all of a sudden.
Well, I was upset when you weren't there. That was like the one time that's the way I felt. But I was really upset when you weren't there. Sorry.
How kind of you.
There are people that definitely think that
your guys are beefing.
No, I think there's probably a lot of people that are like, why are you so mean? Because when the host does it to him, it's like, well, why are you just beating up on the producer? So I'm sorry, Robin. I hope you have a nice weekend.
I hope you have a nice flight as well.
Oh, that's
nice. Very nice. See, look, we're getting along here. Can you take us to the text line here at 610-632-0975? Get us some reaction from last night.
Yeah, we can. Let's start with before my coffee spills over there for a second.
No, don't spill your coffee.
No,
don't do it. The engineers will come running.
We have Karate Mark. Mark says, Jalen looked great yesterday. The game looks slow for him. He's been tested on every level, even a live interview with MJ in attendance that he aced. I'm really starting to believe QB1 is not just good. He's that guy.
Yeah, awesome for Jordan to be in the building. And you hit him with the shrug, which was great. And for you to have that game with him in the building is good because I thought maybe Jordan might have brought the jinx that he brought to UNC Monday night to Belichick's debut to Philly, and he didn't. But also, can you just imagine in life being able to say, guest list for today's game, Michael Jordan showing up on my behalf?
Yeah, so I'm going to have, who do you have? Oh, yeah, Jordan.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan?
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. We're good there.
Yeah, and everyone's expecting Michael Jordan that's not like the Michael Jordan and then the real Michael Jordan.
Well, even Michael B. Jordan would still be fun.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely going with Jordan before I'm going Michael
Jordan.
B. Jordan. Yeah, I think just more for us to talk about, I got a lot of questions for Michael Jordan. Not that I don't have a lot of questions for Michael B. Jordan, but one's one of the greatest basketball players. I mean, Michael B. Jordan's had a pretty great career, too, so I can't necessarily take that from him. But, yeah, I would be more inclined. I guess 610-632-0975. Which Michael Jordan would you rather hang out with?
Rather hang out?
What else we got on the text line?
Yeah, someone checking in saying, praying the NFL has mics near the Cowboys huddle to hear what was said during that confrontation between Dak and Jaylen Carter. Carter is an idiot, but Dak played a part and will be outed.
No, he won't.
We've
already seen the video. They're
going to do everything they can not to have whoever's mic'd up around them. That audio, I'm sure, is going to be burned somewhere.
It's going to be scrubbed. But the thing is, we've already seen him. We've already seen it. We already knew what happened. We talked about it.
And I understand.
I get it.
Carter's your guy. He's an Eagle. We all hate Dak. I got you there. The thing is, regardless of Dak's role in inciting him to do what he did, you have to know in that moment you're putting your team at jeopardy by reacting the way that he did. That's what I'm going to continue to drive home with Jaylen Carter. We can all start to move past it, move on. They won the game, but it's going to be right there in the back of the head. Okay, that happened. Now, people are going to be watching. People are also going to be trying to get you to
That's
mess
the thing.
up.
You've given them the book.
We usually do it at 1 o'clock, but we had our good friend Tim McManus on, so I pushed it back here. We're going to get you the Rodman Report. What do you got for us, Sean Rodman?
Now, the Rodman Report.
All right, let's go to the basketball world right now, where I know it's been a little bit busy on social media this week with, what's happening out with the LA Clippers and, quite frankly, Kawhi Leonard as well.
Yeah.
So let's go to Pablo Torres. His podcast he put out earlier in the week. He said in a tweet as well yesterday, can confirm that Aspiration gave Kawhi a secret $20 million side deal as first reported by the Boston Sports Journal. Combined with Kawhi's secret $28 million no-show endorsement deal, that's $48 million. His podcast previously reported that Steve Ballmer's personal Aspiration investment was $50 million. For those not aware, Aspiration is a tree.
I believe it was.
Yes.
Was.
They're gone now.
Was now. But it's
a tree planting.
Was a tree planting company. Is it fraudulent? Is it not fraudulent? I don't know. But what I want to show to everybody now, make sure that we have it here, is Steve Ballmer was on SportsCenter last night. And I think this kind of slipped through the cracks. And this was his message on if the Clippers kind of finagled around the cap.
Up front, I want to say one thing very clearly. We, the Clippers, have abided by the salary cap circumvention rules because that's the right thing to do. And we have done that. I happen, for what it's worth, to think it's a very important rule in terms of promoting competitiveness and equal playing field across the league. But whether I agreed with it or not, it's the rule. And we've absolutely abided by that.
Perfect. He circumvented the rules accordingly.
Yeah.
The way they're supposed to be circumvented.
Why'd you throw circumvention in there? Why not just the salary cap rules?
I think that was a Freudian slip.
Interesting. Whether or not I agree with them, too. Just giving yourself a little I think they're dumb,
But I'm going to give a guy an extra $48 million that's not going to be accounted for. No big deal.
Yeah, those guys took the $2 million that they didn't pay Kawhi and are out somewhere right now.
Unbelievable. I just love that it was a tree planting company. As if in whatever world that you live in, that this was a real company and they needed, their endorsements were their company was just booming so much. They gave millions, tens of millions of dollars to one athlete for an endorsement of tree planting that no one ever saw him actually talk about.
Think about the number of trees that could have been planted. Number of gardens that could have been started.
That's the thing. Even if you believe it was a real company and the whole thing was actually on the up and up, when did you ever hear him doing an ad? I know he's a New Balance guy. How do I know that?
A couple other things that I wanted to note in this as well. In the late 90s, early 2000s, I believe it was Joe Smith.
Absolutely.
Do
you remember the penalties for that?
5 first-round picks, the Timberwolves.
2 of them. They got 2 of them back, but it ended up as 3. He was suspended for a year. Their GM was suspended. Their half of their front office was suspended. The coach was. It's awful.
Oh no! And Kawhi's not going to play for the Clippers.
Well, that was the irony of it. Is that he was already on a no-show contract.
One more thing. The Sixers do own the 2028 LA Clippers pick, and they own the right to swap in 2029.
I think you should just go ahead and give those on over.
Yeah, I think they should hand them right to the Sixers.
Right now.
Kawhi shouldn't play the 2028 season. Anyone else I think that shouldn't play the 2028
Do you think James Harden's linked to that one too?
And they can take Paul George's contract.
I'm also thinking about Harden. Yeah, they take Paul George back.
I just meant the contract. They just take the contract.
Oh.
He can hang out, I guess.
Oh, he doesn't want to be from Philly. He made that very clear on the speed stream. Very interesting where this goes. This has been fun. Again, Pablo Torre's putting up numbers. He is on a run like nobody's business. I love it. I'm a big Pablo Torre fan in this one. And through all of what he's doing. But one thing here. Kawhi not playing. The Kawhi no-show job is still the greatest punchline that we have right now for this. But yes, thank you, Robin. Good stuff on the Rodman Report on this one. Coming up, final reactions to the game.
Yep.
Send you to the weekend and what we're watching this weekend in the NFL. She's Amy Fadul. I'm Ray Dunn. This is Middays, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts.
Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
We may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage bait to try to spark conversation. So make the switch to Unfiltered with me, Bill Colarulo, my man Ricky Bo, and Silvana Kelleher.
Every weekday at 2 p.m. right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Hi, Ricky. Good seeing you. Ricky was so happy to see me yesterday. One of the nicest things about showing up at Unfiltered. By the way, she's Amy Fadul. I'm Ray Dunn. The Eagles are 1-0. This is the Midday Show. One of the nicest things about showing up to Unfiltered yesterday at Chicks Pizza in South Philly was just how happy Ricky was to see me. He was so, I don't know, there's not a lot of that's not that people aren't genuinely happy to see me normally in my life. It was just one of those, Ricky was like, really? He's like, I can't believe you showed up. I was like, yeah, I said I was going to show up.
So here I am.
You know I have a problem with telling people no. That's why I'm in 11 fantasy football leagues. If you ask me to show up and do something,
I'll do it.
Good chance that I'm going to do it.
Stop on by and you say yes. That's not like hey, we should grab lunch. You're like, okay, we will. I'll see you on Tuesday.
Yeah, no, oh, jeez. I'm looking at the calendar for the fall. It's all right. It's starting to scare me.
Well, we still need to get our Royal Tavern.
Yes, we need to stop by Royal Tavern. See our guy Kevin. Kevin, big night in the softball game the other night.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
He didn't get a home run that was an out.
No, well, he's lefty, so the lefty, the side of the field, it's good for it. You know, he's got a deep right field to play with.
Extend that.
Yeah, and and he's tall, he's ability to run, so he runs for days type thing. Me, I've figured out, and this is, we're gonna get back to the Eagles conversation in a second, the NFL general thing, but we got one segment left here, and I haven't brought up softball at all, so I'm gonna Connor Thomas this bit. I midway through July, as we were starting to go through the trade deadline acquisition potential for the Phillies, I started, eyeing up a little bit of what Harrison Bader was doing because I was like, he could be a potential trade deadline acquisition for this team. And I was watching him. I was like, oh, that's really interesting the way he stands. And now since he became a Philly, I've really looked at the way he stands, and he's unlocked so much more power for himself. And he's obviously a strong guy. But me not being a strong guy, this way that he stands, he's been able to unlock a lot of power.
You said this yesterday when we were off air. You said that. So me, and I was like, what?
I've tried to reconstruct the way that he stands and the way he just opens up into the pull power and basically selling out the way he's sold out now for pull side power, just getting balls into the air and driving them. And I'm not kidding you when I think it's not perfect for me, obviously. I'm not saying that I am a professional athlete or anywhere close to it. But for slow pitch softball, it's worked tremendously for me.
And you've done a better job. Well, yeah, because we were in here talking with Andrew with Salciunas, and he said I couldn't be part of that league because I have to limit myself.
Right.
Just because you play in the city, they don't want to encourage home runs.
They don't. Yeah, because it goes out to a street and
there's cars parked there.
I might crowdsource just for one more paneling of fence, just a little bit higher, because
Just to get that going.
yeah, because I could tell you if these were hitting the top of the fence, I'd be having a great day. But I'm hitting them over the fence and I'm hitting them out, which is not a problem I've ever had. My entire team's like, you're selfish for this. Like, this is only to validate your own power. I'm like, look at my body.
Do I look like a power hitter?
Right.
Do I look like?
Did you think I ever thought I'd have this problem?
But the Harrison Bader stance unlocked it for you.
Yeah, it's just, again, he stands on, like, look at his feet when he's in there in the box.
I'm going to watch it tonight.
Look at his feet. Look how close together they are, and then how much he opens up to
With the
really
stride.
open up.
Yeah.
With that. Yeah,
Right,
it's
yeah,
impressive.
Yeah, I've seen that. I will say you can add maybe another lunch. A friend of ours just texted saying you can add a lunch for the three of us.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, so.
All right, so I'm in for that lunch.
Another lunch. Because I was making the joke like, hey, you want to go to lunch? Most people, how they say like, I want to go to lunch.
I think I might know
Ray's
that
like,
friend.
Ray's like, well, we will have it. We will have it on a definitive day at a definitive time. So we'll find out.
Is this a friend that likes to enjoy cold one? That
does.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I'm in for that lunch. All right, let's go back to the text line. Sean Robbins looking antsy there to get back to some football. Good producing here by him. He's like,
He's
the
like,
Eagles
"I've got
played
stuff to
yesterday.
do."
Come on, lock in, Ray. What do you got for me, Robin?
Eric in Savannah says, F the Cowboys. I'm in full support of Carter. I want this hate for the Cowgirls. I want battery thrown again. F them. F Texas. Go Birds.
All right.
You kids are too young to remember the real rivalry.
Okay, first of all, when it was a real rivalry, the Eagles were getting their butts kicked up and down.
Well, no, Buddy Ryan won against them. It's just that the Cowboys ended up winning in the postseason.
Cool. Everybody remembers that year in the December game. They don't remember the postseason or the Super Bowls that they were racking up
All
down
right,
there.
so is it Eric in Savannah? Let's break down this
Yes.
text. You hate the Cowboys. I hate the Cowboys. I have said this a lot. The way I was raised, Cowboy hate was the strongest version of fandom I got because my mom is a Giants fan, my dad's an Eagles fan. There is one thing in common that we all came together to do a lot of times on Sunday night or whenever the Cowboys played. No matter what the Eagles did, no matter what the Giants did, that household, when the Cowboys were on the television, everyone hated them. It is one of the things that fused two of them, and really that's, I grew up in that hate. So that hate to me is very much instilled in me. I have not seen it to the level that those of you that had to watch the Cowboys succeed at a high level. So I was saying yesterday, I felt so good for the people that on Banner Day they were getting a chance to experience it. But I will say that you can take that Cowboys hate and use it all across the board, but don't channel it into defending something that was dumb. That's what
You're completely on the side. You want to bring back battery throw. I mean,
Right.
Come on.
Like, it just kind of sounds like you stumbled on out of a 24-hour establishment where you've been partying since they won. That's what that text sounded like. I love the energy. I love the passion. But I think that you channeling your hate into standing up for something that was dumb.
You can have a rivalry without having the extra nonsense. You don't need why would you give them any extra fuel?
Yeah.
Always
and I love the fact the rivalry's like the rivalry was at the level it was last night. I don't love the undisciplined nature of some of what they were doing. Like, I was worried about DeJean getting thrown out. The penalties were ridiculous. But I like them, the two sides getting each other's face talking.
I don't mind that. I don't mind a little extracurricular.
Yeah.
But there's a line that you cannot cross. I think throwing a battery at someone is going to cross.
All right. Do we have to clarify on that one?
I mean,
we are
apparently we do.
anti-throwing batteries.
We're anti-spitting on another human. Like that's just there you go.
Yeah.
Across the board, not a great look.
Right.
Another text we have, defending Carter is like defending Alvarado for popping weight loss pills.
Ooh. I don't know that that's where I would go.
So they're saying that defending Carter is like, so there is
because they were both wrong.
I guess because he put like Alvarado was suspended, and put himself in front
his
of the
own
team.
self. Okay, I can kind of see the comparison.
Driving along, I'm trying to get there. I don't know.
Yeah, I can see what you're trying to do with that comparison. That's an example. And this is the one thing with the text line that I've noticed. Sometimes, and I appreciate the brevity of some people's texts. You have a point that you deliver, and you're like, it makes total sense in your brain, but since it's over text, it's kind of like the text you send where, how many different ways okay can be interpreted.
Oh, yeah.
That's a text that, like, because
Could
there's
be
no
a
more
snarky
context to it,
I feel like he could have.
I
I get it. I kind of see what he's saying. Like, he let the team down because it was a self-serving situation. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I can see
still
what,
driving.
like,
Still don't see it. But
you
I'll get
did
it.
something for your own justification. For Alvarado, you were trying to, do something for your own performance. For Carter, you were trying to get back at whatever you thought Dak was doing to you, and you were trying to set a tone there. But your own self-validation there got in the way of the team trying to accomplish the ultimate goal. So that's, I think, where that texter was going. And both cases, you let the team down. But I tried. I tried to get there with you. One more for us, Robin.
All right, this is another text, but on the offense, you can't nitpick the offensive coordinator with the first game, with a win.
You can't?
Cannot.
Oh,
I can't.
Crap. All right, well, we got to re-script the entire show for next week.
Yeah. I mean, I get you can't maybe judge him too harshly given it's one game and the fact that it was a really weird game.
Wait a second.
I think you
I put it as a concern put to bed?
It was.
So that, yeah.
But you can still still have points that you want to make.
We're going to nitpick. That's what we do. They're 1-0. Guess who isn't today? Dallas. Everyone, their W's and L's that were like, they're not losing banner night. You're right. They didn't lose banner night. Unless they won 42-10, we were going to have a lot that we could break down from this game.
Right.
And even if they won 42-10,
then there would still be things that be like, well, it was a surprise that this.
Yeah. I expected weird week one football. I got weird week one football. The Cowboys covered, like I thought. The Eagles won, like I thought. I came in here today feeling good. And I think, Amy, you also feel good. 1-0 is a good feeling.
It's a good feeling.
There's more next week that we'll break down. Amy, this has been a lot of fun this week.
It has been.
We'll hang out at some point.
I'm hopeful at least one day next week. I know I will be with Bill filling in for Ricky 2 days next week towards the end of the week. But I'm hopeful that I can come back on your show from 10 to 2.
There's word that there might be a Bill and I reunion for a few hours there. That's something that's been rumbling around these airways. I don't know. So looking forward to that. Sean Rodman, great work this week.
Good stuff, Sean.
Good stuff today. Thank you all. Called, tweeted, texted into the show. The Birds are 1-0.
1-0.
It's a beautiful day. Thank you again, Amy. I'm Ray Dunn. Hope to talk to you again real soon right here. 97.5 The Fanatic.